now playing at quarterback.
And can the Bills get to Dan Marino? Nobody sacked him in 19 games, but Buffalo has one of the best in Bruce Smith.
Well, I saw Dan and Bruce Smith talking before the game. They're sitting down on the sideline. As I walked by, I said, Dan, I bet you hope that this is as close Bruce comes to you all day. And they both smile. Bruce smiles saying, wait a minute, I think I'm going to get a little bit closer as the game goes.
The Dolphins have won the toss, and they'll receive to start the game. There's Coach Don Shula, called that opening loss at Joe Robbie Stadium one of the most disappointing of his career when Kelly scored on the final play of the game. Into the ball to Scott Norwood. And this is Willard Reeves, a new acquisition this week because of the injuries to Dolphin runners. And Reeves takes it across the 20, and he gets it to about the 24-yard line, where Dan Marino leads the Miami Dolphins offense out. Roy Foster playing very well at left guard again this year. They take care of Marino. 766 pass attempts with no sacks. Sammy Smith starts as a runner, the rookie from Florida State. When they go to a passing formation, Jensen comes in as an extra receiver. Fred Banks and Andre Brown will come in. So the Dolphins, who beat the Bills 20 straight times during the 1970s, have now lost 5 straight to Buffalo. The Dolphin win today gets them a share of first. End off, and the Bills shut down the run. The veteran Fred Smerlas is there quickly to get Sammy Smith. Smerlas, an 11-year veteran from Boston College, still playing some very good football for Buffalo. He's one of the focal points of their defense, a fiery player. Art Still, Fred Smerlas, and Bruce Smith across the defensive front. Cornelius Bennett is a first-team All-Pro player at the outside linebacker position. The dime defense brings these extra people in. John Hagee has just been activated, a big-time hitter from the University of Texas. There was virtually no gain on the play. 2nd and 10. Again, the Dolphins try to run, and this time they get some yards on a quick trap up the middle. Smith drives the ball out across the 25-yard line and out close to the 28.
With the injury to Troy Stratford, this is actually Sammy Smith coming out party. I think one of the things you're going to see today, the Dolphins like to bring in number 11, Jim Jensen, put him in the backfield on a passing situation. But I think today they may try a new wrinkle, and that is putting Mark Clayton in the backfield and letting him get one-on-one with the linebacker. As you can see, he's lined up now as a setback in the backfield. That puts a lot of pressure on the defensive linebacker.
Yeah, it does. Linebacker has to cover Clayton coming out of the backfield as Marino looks to throw. Markers are down, and he went to Clayton. It's incomplete at the 35-yard line. But a marker's down. Buffalo gets a ferocious rush. This time, apparently, Ahmad, they miss a line, and they're going to be called for a 5-yard penalty, but the Bills will refuse that and take a punt.
Once again, you see Mark Clayton to the right of your screen, just coming out of that backfield, trying to get one-on-one and on that extra defensive back. He's coming over the middle. False start. Offense. Still 3rd down.
Well, they had to take the penalty because it was before the snap of the ball, so it's an automatic penalty. So 3rd down comes up again. This time it'll be 3rd down and about 9.
It's going to be awful tough to try to stop Mark Clayton coming out of that backfield. He's awful quick. And anytime you get a 5th defensive back in or a linebacker, there's an overmatch there. That's the one that Marino's going to be trying to find.
Bright sunny day, cloudless skies. They say the temperature on the field's up around 80. Here's Marino, quick out, going downfield. Look at that ball, a perfect strike and a first down. As he gets the ball downfield for a first down to Andre Brown, a first-year player from the University of Miami. 21-yard gain, Ahmad.
First down, Miami.
This, you know, when the thing about Miami's offense is that 3rd and long means nothing to them. They are so comfortable in that situation with a quarterback like Marino. Here you see him just hit Banks coming across the middle, and Banks doing a fine job of running the ball afterwards. When you get a lot of pressure on you, when you put Miami in a 3rd and long, then the pressure is certainly on your entire defense. That is Andre Brown on the catch.
Now Marino looks again. There's the quick fire downfield, and he gets Jensen out of the backfield as the Dolphins cross midfield on a first down throw. The gain is down to the 47-yard line. Radisek came up and made the hit. Very quick timing passes by Marino.
Bruce Smith certainly fired up for this game. He wants to be the guy that sacks Marino for the first time. There's a lot of, you know, they respect each other. I thought it was kind of neat to watch these two guys talking to each other before the game, and they're asking about their families. You know, a lot of back and forth, but I guarantee you they both know that Bruce is intent on getting to Dan today.
Bruce Smith had 3 sacks last week in the rout of the Jets here at Rich Stadium. Pitch back on 2nd down and 4, and the Dolphins get some room to run, and that is the rookie, Sammy Smith, going hard, and he looks to have a Miami first down close to the 41-yard line of the Bills as the strong safety for Buffalo, 46, Leonard Smith, made the hit.
Sammy Smith showing that he's ready to turn that ball up the field and start running hard. Here, a lot of good blocking in front. Sammy Smith turns the ball up into the line and powers over Leonard Smith for the first down.
Marino up to a rare start. He's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns through the first 7 games. 10 TDs, 13 intercepts.
He said the interception, the only one that really bothered him was the one he threw last game against Buffalo.
That was a costly one that led to the final drive as Davenport runs the ball and is knocked down by Art Still. 2-yard gain on first down.
Just a little power dive by Davenport. And just a little power tackle by Art Still, number 72. It's one of these rare players that seems to be getting better with age.
Art Still, the 2nd player picked in the entire draft by Kansas City, after Earl Campbell was taken by Houston in the 1978 draft. Still playing well at left end. Dolphins moving the ball on their opening possession. There's no score. Handoff, and Davenport breaks it and gets inside the 30. So the Dolphins are out using a lot of different blocking schemes to attack this very formidable Buffalo front, and they're moving the ball, running it.
The Miami Dolphins have run the ball very well the last couple of weeks. That was a 10-yard gain by Davenport. And this is a very nice cut back up into the middle. Most backs will try to keep that ball outside and can't get any yardage. What Davenport does is start going north and south right away. And if Miami can continue to run the ball well, that puts so much pressure on Marv Levy's defense.
Dolphins have a 3-game win streak going. They started off 1-3, but now they're 4-3. They win 4 in a row. It'll be the first time in 4 years they've done that. Cutting back is Smith, and he makes his way down to the 25-yard line on a first down carry. Sammy Smith is ahead for a gain of 3 yards to bring up 2nd and 7. Cornerback Kirby Jackson made the tackle for the Bills.
No one knew how well Sammy Smith was going to do. When we talked to Don Shula yesterday, he just said, hey, I don't know. He gets his chance today. And so far, he is making the best of his chance. A very nice cut. Cuts back against the grain and then cuts the ball back upfield. Very nice moves by Sammy Smith.
2nd down and 7 coming up. No score. Smith caught by Bruce Smith. Sammy Smith caught by Bruce Smith. As the Brew call goes out, there's number 78, the consensus all-pro pass rusher. In this morning's Buffalo News, they had a whole compendium of quotes from Dolphins talking about this game and what it meant and how they were going to beat Buffalo. And Bruce Smith is one person who openly says, I get motivated by what I read in the newspaper.
Well, it takes different things for different people.
Right. Whatever's fair. 3rd down and 9 now for Miami as Dan Marino checks his alignment and sets in the gun. Bills with a deep zone defense, and here is a throw and a drop ball at the 23-yard line. Bring up 4th down, and they send out Stoyanovich. It'll be a long kick. Red Banks was the intended receiver. That's the guy who said we're not going to just beat him, we're going to beat him big.
Well, they're not going to beat him with plays like that. Banks, I'm telling you, had he caught that ball, there was a lot of running room in front of him. In order for the Dolphins to be successful, you got to catch balls like that. He laid that ball right in his hands. And Marino, being a field leader out there, he'll let Banks know that, hey, man, in order for us to do anything, you got to catch the ball. I did my part.
45-yard field goal coming up by Stoyanovich. He is only 1 for 4 outside the 40. He's 10 for 10 inside the 40. Hits the ball very well, and he drives it up and through, and the Dolphins are on the board. So the Miami Dolphins take the opening kickoff, move it down the field with a varied offense, and Stoyanovich puts up the first points of the game.
Miami wanted to do in this game was establish the run, and I think they did that very well. A lot of people thought that they're going to really miss Troy Stratford, and they do, but the guys they got in there, Sammy Smith.
Davenport will be in there with him. He's been in a lot. Miami does well when they start off first on the board, Ahmad.
They certainly do. This year, anytime they've scored first, they've been 3-0. I don't think that's going to count in this game, though. I expect the Bills to come right back.
Yeah, Bills can really run the ball. Here's a kickoff, and this is the fastest Bill down. Beebe running it back across the 20. He's a rookie. Beebe breaks it and gets out across the 35-yard line, but there's a penalty marker down. As Bills and Dolphins start up after the tackle is made, Hobley and Drain were pushing each other.
They tell us that Don Beebe runs a 4.2940, which is almost a blur. I've never seen anybody run that fast, and I played with some pretty good speed merchants.
He said the Jets had him in 4.22 and the Bills had him in 4.29. Either one is acceptable. It's legit.
Holding number 54 on the run back. First down.
Carlton Bailey with a holding call on the run back, so it comes way back now.
And Beebe with just a crack there. There you see that 4.29 speed where he makes it right through the crack there, and he's off to the races a little bit. You know, when you run 4.29, the collisions are a little bit harder, a lot faster.
I tell you, with higher speed collisions, couldn't even see Bailey on the picture on that side. I don't know if his illegal block influenced the play, but it brings the ball back. So the Bills go from scrimmage for the first time. First down and 10 at their 24-yard line. Dolphins in the lead 3-0. Thurman Thomas, he's good. Across the 30 and out to the 33-yard line. This is a tremendous back from Oklahoma State in his second year. Leads the AFC in total yards. Barry Krause comes up to make the tackle. Bills have great size at their tackles, both 300-pounders in Wolford and Howard Ballard. Frank Wright making his third straight start at quarterback. Beat the Rams with a comeback. Was excellent against the Jets. Passing downs, Ronnie Harmon, who made a one-hand touchdown catch last week against the Jets, comes in. Andre Reed, though, 83 is the guy to watch. Top receiver this year in the AFC, 48 catches. Hand off to Thomas. He turns the corner and moves the ball and gets a first down on a 2nd and 2 play. The single biggest overmatch in this game is Buffalo's ability to run the ball and Miami's inability to stop the run. The Dolphins are allowing 4.6 yards per rush by the opponent. Langford and Judson, the veteran cornerbacks. Williams and Oliver, the newcomers at safety. Oliver, a rookie, second year. Defensive line. T.J. Turner's not here. He's injured. Line will come out on the dime defense of the Dolphins. They send in all new people, virtually all. Miami's defense has grades low overall, but they've made a lot of big plays to win games when it counted. They're 13th in the AFC in defense. Handoff, and again they go to Thurman Thomas. This time Miami fills better and stops the run after a gain of about 3 yards to the 41-yard line.
I think the key that you said, Don, is they've been able to make big plays. A lot of times those statistics will fool you. The key to playing winning defense is to come up with big plays. You can let them run all over the field, but if you can make the play at the right time, I'm telling you, that's what makes a good defense, not the stats.
Yeah, Marv Levy, the coach of the Bills, was telling us yesterday how it breaks down to the individual down. He said the biggest thing the Bills have going for them defensively, they allow only 2.7 to the rush on first down. All right, hands off, right back to the money, Thurman Thomas. With those change of pace moves, he comes in, takes some hard pops from Miami Dolphins. E.J. Jr. was there to stick him, along with the nose tackle Brian Sauché, 70. E.J. Jr., 54. A B-plan player from the Phoenix Cardinals. Total yards from scrimmage. See Thomas with 881, leading James Brooks and Christian Okoye. He's run it 4 times already today and is getting some nice yards on out.
4 times to 21 yards. And what he does is he follows his blocking so well. As you watch him run, he picks his holes and he hugs his blockers, and then he has that acceleration that he can explode once he finds a crack.
That's his great strength, his ability to wait on his blockers, then make that burst. From the shotgun on 3rd and a long 3, swing pass. It's caught by Thurman Thomas, and he has a first down to the Miami 48-yard line. Thomas comes out of the backfield. Reich leads him. Thomas bobbled it, but got the handle before going out of bounds. Oliver was covering.
When I talked to the Miami defense, I asked them, what do they worry about Andre Reed? They said Thurman Thomas is the guy. Within a 3rd and long situation, like to hit him in the flat and let him run with it. But right there, you see Louis Oliver is right on top of him, and a fine play by Thurman Thomas. He stops him from running him over that bench. But I guarantee you, if he gets a shot at him in the middle of that field, he told me, he said, you know, somebody's got to go down.
They're big-time hitters, Jarvis Williams and Louis Oliver.
They call themselves the B-52 Bombers.
The Bombers from the University of Florida. And up to Larry Kinnebrew, the power back. who had a tremendous game against the Jets. He ran the ball 17 times for 77 yards. He's a free agent player the Bills signed. He was a very good player for 3 years at Cincinnati. Tailed off. They caught him. He was working construction last year. Dolphins are protesting. Barry Krause thought he stole the ball. Instead, the Bills got a gain of 7 yards on first down. 2nd down and 3 at the Dolphin 41-yard line.
Well, the thing that Kennebrew can do is once he hits a hole and he gets in behind those offensive linemen, you got a guy that weighs 260 pounds pushing along with his offensive linemen, and they just take the pile and move it back.
Last week we had him at 270. He corrected that at practice, so. Harmon comes in and runs on 2nd down, and the Dolphins come in a pack and throw back Ronnie Harmon. William Judson, 49, led the tacklers. He wanted you to be sure yesterday about you knew his weight, right?
He asked me to have my notepad. He said, well, take it out and write this down. I'm 260 pounds. And I wrote it down.
At Cincinnati, he played it as high as 282. And the great stat about him that people don't believe, but it's true, in a high school track meet in Georgia, he beat Herschel Walker.
He did, and he said the time was 9.6. He also said Bob Trumpy got him cut from Cincinnati because Trumpy kept talking about his weight on his talk show.
Really? Well, he's back and playing well. Now it's 3rd down and very short. Bills go to the shotgun, hand off to Thurman Thomas. Trumpers in front. He connects and gets the 1st down and more. As the Bills run the ball into the Dolphin defense inside the 30-yard line down to the 28.
Just intelligent running, Don. We talked about it, how he likes to hug that blocker, and then he has that explosion to take off once he sees the gap. That's exactly what he did there. He was right on the hip of that blocker. That was a 13-yard gain, but watch Thurman Thomas. He's right on the hip of his blocker. Now, all of a sudden, he sees a crack, and he explodes right through 2 guys. And that's when he's really dangerous. He sees the holes so well.
He's accounted for over a half-mile in offense from scrimmage in the first 7 games of the season.
35% of the Bills' offense.
He's the deep back now as the Bills send a tight end in motion. On 1st down, to give up the middle, and Kennebrew, taking on tacklers, drives Dolphin defense back and takes the ball close to the 22-yard line. Big game at Cleveland where the Oilers have gone in front of the Browns 7-0 in the 1st quarter. Patriots lead the Colts. If the Colts should win today and if Miami should win, there'd be a 3-way tie for 1st in the AFC East. Cincinnati slumping, having lost 2 straight at home. New Orleans, a team to watch, coming on. Second and 4. Here is Thurman Thomas cutting back. Getting inside the 20. There was nothing there, but he made something out of it. Hugh Green got him, number 55, as the Bills go to Thurman Thomas time and again, only throwing conservative short passes when needed.
What great runners do, watch Thurman Thomas stretch the defense. He takes the pitch, and now watch him go wide. He's stretching the defense. They're trying to keep him from going around the end. As soon as they get outside, he cuts right back up in the inside of him and gets some yardage. Most backs, that's a run for no gain. But with Thurman Thomas, he's able to stretch him, cut back inside, and get some yards.
The Bills, a very well-balanced team. They're only one of 3 teams in the NFL that grades out in the league as in the top 10 on offense and defense. And Buffalo gets a 1st down. Miami's on the board on a 45-yard field goal by Stoyanovich on the opening drive. 1st quarter moving along quickly. 2:49 to play in it.
We talk about this Bills offense with Jim Kelly in there. You know, Kelly drives this car a little bit differently. He drives it at full throttle, and then Frank Reich comes out. He's an awful good driver, too, but he uses everybody around him, and that's his plus. Kelly there on the sideline just licking his chops. He wanted to play this week.
He looked ready yesterday. He really looks in good shape, but they don't want to jeopardize bringing him back a week early. Doesn't bother the Dolphins. Here's a handoff to Kennebrew, and he drives down inside the 10-yard line. When he wants to go, there's nothing quite like Larry Kennebrew from Tennessee State. A pile driver. A runaway truck, just taking on tacklers and moving the whole pile.
And I think some of those Miami Dolphins think he weighs 270 also. Like I thought. You just watch Kennebrew. This is big power running right here. Kennebrew takes his ball, gets inside his blockers, and now he's just bouncing off of people and powering forward. That's his 3rd carry for 22 yards.
So the Bills drive on now. Second down and less than 2 coming up. Dolphins lead at 3-0 late in the first quarter. End up to Kennebrew, and he falls down to the 5-yard line. But he has a first down for the Bills. It'll be first and goal. And now the Dolphins will be attacking the football, trying to free it up.
I talked to Kennebrew before the game this morning. You know, he gets here to the stadium about 10 o'clock in the morning. He said, I leave from the hotel and come straight to the stadium because I don't like to go home. I said, why? He said, because I go home, my wife makes me take the garbage out. He said, I like to keep my mind on the game.
Well, it's a good place to be there in the locker room.
That's right.
Never can go wrong there. There's Tom Olivadotti, defensive coach of the Dolphins. End off to Thurman Thomas. Nothing there. Now he cuts back and gets a couple. On a first and goal play from the 6-yard line, he gets it down to about the 3. Time and again, Thurman Thomas makes something happen. If there's a crack, he shoots into it. Barry Krause, a 240-pounder, a 11-year veteran from Alabama. Again on the stop, number 58, as Thurman banged his right hand.
Looked like he may have got, a lot of times you'll get a shot on your forearm on that muscle there, and it causes a cramp in your hand. Looked like he might have taken a shot there, but Thurman reminds me a lot of Walter Payton, maybe a little bit faster, though.
Second down and goal. Power set for the Bills. 3 tight ends in the game. They go to Kennebrew, and he bangs down to the goal line, but the Dolphins keep him out for the moment. It'll bring up third down and goal from about the 1. Over 80,000 jamming Rich Stadium. Bills selling out game after game. 16 straight sellouts of 80,000, and they're up and cheering now as the first quarter winds down and out with the Dolphins in the lead 3-0, but the Bills challenging. They're cheering the first place Bills big time in Buffalo. Don Criqui with a mount of shot. Rashad, it looks like at the outset of now he might have a track meet. Last at bat.
Well, I told you before this game that you don't have to tell these guys this is a game for first place. They came out, everybody's going 100 miles an hour. And the thing about it is nobody's throwing the ball too much. Miami comes out running the ball very well. And Buffalo, shoot, this is their 15th play coming up. They've already thrown 1 pass.
They're right down by the goal line of the Buffalo Bills looking to go ahead. Dolphins took the lead on a 45-yard Pete Stoyanovich field goal. John Offerdahl, who's been in, getting more playing time now, working back into form. Goal line defense for the Miami Dolphins. Third down and goal from a yard away. And here's Kennebrew, and he's in, standing up. Touchdown, Buffalo. The Bills take the lead 6-3.
They're 3-0, and I said that maybe it wouldn't count in this game, and Buffalo proved me right. They came right back down the field, and they put up 6. Looking for 7 here.
Bills very impressive offensively on that drive. Is driving it down the field. Straight ahead power runs by Kennebrew, darting runs by Thurman Thomas, and now the extra point by Norwood's up and good. And with just 2 seconds gone in the second quarter, the Bills have taken the lead, 7-3.
Power running. Kennebrew just powers through. He's tough to stop anywhere. He gets that stuff going. Boy, he can't be stopped.
6 yards. Had the ball for almost 8.5 minutes. And now the Bills are set to kick off for the second time they did to open the game. Again, Willard Reeves and Terry Good are back deep for Miami. High spinning kick, and this is Willard Reeves from the 11. And he's tripped up. Chris Hale, the smallest player on the Bills team, a rookie defensive back from Southern California, number 26, makes the tackle. Now to NFL Live and Bob Costas. Bob?
All right, Don, in that Houston-Cleveland matchup in Cleveland, the Oilers take the ball, opening drive, keep it for 14 plays in almost 9 minutes, then cap it when Warren Moon goes 13 yards to Haywood Jeffries, who tumbles backwards into the end zone to give Houston a 7-0 lead late in the first quarter now at Cleveland. Back to Don and Ahmad.
Thank you, Bob, and we're set to go first and 10 Miami at the Dolphin 24-yard line. Second back through is Sammy Smith, and he takes a stick from All-Pro Cornelius Bennett. And then the Bills come en masse. knock him down. You see the score that Bob just alluded to. The Houston Oilers going up on Cleveland. Trudeau hit Risen for a touchdown. The Colts now lead New England. Testaverde's thrown for TD, and Boomer Esiason followed for the Bengals with one. 2 field goals, and Phoenix has a 6-0 lead at Dallas. Detroit now in front of the Packers 7-3. Here in Western New York, Orchard Park, Rich Stadium, the Bills lead the Dolphins 7-3. Both teams scoring on their opening possessions. And he led it off with a field goal. Buffalo came back. Touchdown. Throw in the flat. Crash Jensen gets the ball and is swept under by Scott Radisek. Gain of only about 2 yards. It looked like more than that. The ball was thrown to the flank, and it'll bring up 3rd down and about 7. Ronnie Harmon, an ace pass catcher for the Bills, out of their backfield on 3rd downs with a contusion of the shoulder being attended to.
There's a spot right on the top of that shoulder. If you get popped on it, it's almost like a hip pointer in your shoulder. Just right on the edge of it, and that's probably where he got popped.
Sounds like you've had those.
I've had one or 2 of those. I used to wear those Boys Club pads.
3rd down and 6. Long 6. Here's the rush. Marino gets it away and throws a perfect strike out to the 38-yard line to Mark Duper. Coming off the flank on a slant. Very interesting. Walt Corey, the defensive coordinator for the Bills, talking about how Marino really is looking right at the area he's going to go to. If he drops back, straight back, he's going to throw left like he does here. And you'll watch him if he drops back with his facing right, cross-stepping, then he's going to throw to the right. It was remarkable how many times it turned out that way watching Miami Dolphin offensive films with the defensive coordinator of the Bills, Walt Corey, the big man with his arms folded.
I know Walt Corey also realized the last play before that he looked left and threw it right to Jim Jensen. So it's one of those things that you like to know, but you don't want to count on it.
Bruce Smith stops the run. Never mind, Glenn Blackwood, who played for the Dolphins for so long, said the one distinguishing thing about Marino, if you play against him time and time again, is you never know where the ball's going.
That's exactly. He threw the 2 passes before that. He was leaning to the left and just fired it out to the right. But talking about firing out, watch Bruce Smith right here get rid of the blocker and just stuff Sammy Smith. Bruce Smith, I think that's what makes Bruce such a great player. He plays the run as well as the pass. He is just a dominating player on the defensive line.
Smith is playing with a tender ankle. Has had him out of the lineup for a while. He does not like artificial turf. Here's a downfield throw intercepted by Cornelius Bennett. He's back to the 43-yard line. So tremendous pressure put on Marino by Bruce Smith, and sometimes the sack is far less valuable than a hurry that makes the quarterback throw the ball errantly, as Marino did there right to Cornelius Bennett. So Marino throws his 14th interception of the season, and the Bills take it over.
Bruce Smith lining up right over here, right in front of the center, Jeff Ulenek, who's a rookie. And a lot of times, Don just mentioned, it's not so important that you sack the quarterback, is that you make the quarterback hurry his throw. Bruce Smith, splitting the 2 guys, gets his hand up, makes Marino throw the ball a little high to Sammy Smith, and look who gets it, Mr. Bennett.
Biscuit Bennett, Cornelius Bennett.
And
so
they were lucky to tackle him down because he's an excellent runner after the throw.
He is. He's as fast as most of the defensive backs, Bennett. So the Bills, leading 7-3, get their 2nd possession now at the 42-yard line of Miami. Back to the power game, and Kennebrew, both arms on the ball. He has had fumble problems in his career. Thunders inside the 40 and down to the 38-yard line. E.J. Jr. 54 got him for the Dolphins.
A gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6.
I tell you, these Buffalo backs, they are so excellent at finding the hole and getting up the field. There are so many backs that once they get in the open like that, they go east and west. And that's the easiest way for a defensive guy to make the tackle. Once you turn that ball up the field, you put all the pressure on the guy to make the tackle.
Here's Frank Reich now with a conservative offense, but a powerful one. Back to the run. This is Thurman Thomas dipping inside and out. Look at these moves by Thurman Thomas. 2 people finally get him as he's down to the 32-yard line.
I think we have a holding call. Anytime you see that flag being thrown in the middle of the pile, you get that old holding thing.
Referee today is Johnny Greer.
Holding. 67 offense. Still 2nd down.
Ken Hall on the holding call.
Pro Bowl center Kent Hull called for the hold.
But Thurman Thomas, we talked about him finding a spot. Watch him pick his hole here. He goes up to the middle of the line, then breaks it outside, then accelerates, and he's still into some dance steps down the field. He's not done. You got to really wrap him up to make sure you can tackle him, because he has more moves.
He's got everyone there is.
He is a fast Walter Payton.
And he breaks tackles. 5'10", 195. Right. Goes up the middle and makes the connection to a tight end, Keith McKellar. A very fast tight end, and he's got a first down for the Bills. They're very close to one. Now let's go back to Bob Costas and NFL Live.
All right, Don, down 3-0 to the Patriots first quarter at the Hoosier Dome. Here comes Jack Trudeau for the Colts. A perfect throw. Andre Rison takes it in stride, his first NFL touchdown. And watch the maneuver now with Clarence Verdun, his teammate. A little Verdance. Very nice. 7-3 Colts.
Verdance. Nice, Bob.
The Verdance, they call it.
The Verdance. That'll be big in the clubs tonight.
Ball is spotted just short of the first down, so it's third and less than a yard for the Bills. They lead 7-3 in the second quarter. Kinnebrew thunders into the Dolphin defense. He has a first down. And big Larry Kinnebrew, both arms wrapped around that hog, making sure they don't knock it free.
That offensive line is playing with so much confidence. When they can pound out like that and know they got a big old 260, 270 pounder behind them to come firing in there, it really gives the offensive line a lot of confidence.
They say about Kinnebrew, he makes his own interference sometimes, and sometimes it's his offensive lineman he runs through. Turned away, bang.
That'll motivate you if you're the offensive lineman and you're on a block and you know you got a big fella coming behind you. You got to get it out of the way.
And first down, they go to Thurman Thomas, and again with those remarkable change of pace moves. Look at him run inside the 15. He's not done. Inside the 10. One of the best runs of the NFL season by Thurman Thomas, who takes it in 30 yards, broken field for a Buffalo touchdown.
Field 1-2 times. Now he turns on the speed, and all I can say, Don, is woo-wee. Man, that's a run.
That's as good as it gets. Like the Juice a few years ago here in Buffalo, going through a whole defense. The Bills lead it 14-3. Dolphins like an on-rushing waterfall, just pouring it on, as Thurman Thomas just turned one of the great runs of this season, cutting through the Dolphin defense for 30 yards and a touchdown.
Thurman Thomas looking like one of the wonders of the world here so far this game.
He really had a tremendous effort. This is the Jaws section of the Bridge Stadium. The vroom, Jaws music.
Everybody doesn't know it because they're not all doing it.
Very short. Coming up on the ball is Reeves again. He lost it. Picked up by a teammate, but he's quickly cut down at the 23-yard line. Taking play for Buffalo was John Hagee, number 22.
Now let's take another look at this touchdown. Thurman Thomas is going to break over here to the right, do a little something over here, break back over here to the right, do a little something here, and break into the end zone. And I can't draw it any better than that. But I tell you what, let's count the tackles. There's 1, 2, 3 guys that
we got him here for
4
sure.
4 miss him, 5 miss him, 6 miss him, 7 miss him, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys. He ran through the entire team.
They're not going to get him. Did it again on replay. Dan Marino on a called sprint out with a great throw downfield for a first down to the 33-yard line. Marino is in excellent physical shape. His weight's down about 10 pounds, and he's been sprinting out more. As we again look at the 10-minute ticker and the scores of the 1 o'clock games. Bills opening up a 14-3 lead here after the Dolphins took a 3-0 lead on the opening drive. A Stoyanovich field goal.
Well, Bob Costas is going to have a lot of fun explaining that play of Thurman Thomas. If he liked that bird dance, I wonder what he's going to call this one.
I like what you had, the woo-woo.
I like that woo-woo.
First and 10 for the Dolphins at their 33. Clayton, 83 in motion. Second back is Smith, the rookie, and Bruce Smith gets him again. Bruce Smith saying to him, hello, cousin. They're not related, but they're awful close today.
Bruce Smith is just excellent. Here he just sheds the blockers. He's free into the backfield. Davenport tries to block him, but he reaches over the top of Davenport and still tackles Sammy Smith.
Bruce Smith, at his best, is an absolutely unblockable player. The #1 player picked in the draft when he came out of Virginia Tech in 1985 as the Outland Trophy winner. He sets the tone, and on the other side they have the brilliant young player Cornelius Bennett, another awesome pass rusher. Smith breaks it, and he gets a first down. Good change of pace move by 210-pound Sammy Smith, who ran for Coach Bowden and the Seminoles at Florida State. Very well the past 4 years, a 13-yard gain.
And Sammy Smith showing something that they didn't know, that he's going to have this kind of resiliency. That was a 13-yard run. Sammy Smith still hitting this hole. There's a great gapping hole right there. Sammy Smith hits it going 100 miles an hour, and he's brought down by Kelso, number 38. The offensive line of the Miami Dolphins doing a fine job on the run.
There's a out pass, and a connection is made to Mark Duper. The hit is quickly put on him by Nate Odoms, but Duper goes high and comes down with the ball. That's his 27th reception of the season, having another big year, averaging 18 yards a catch.
The pressure that this Miami Dolphins offense can put on you is if they can run the ball, and you've got to keep those linebackers up front to try to stop the run, then they have people like Duper and Clayton that can kill you deep. So the trick is you got to stop them from running the ball. Therefore, your linebackers can be free in that secondary.
And every DB knows what they do. They run those out, and all of a sudden they turn it upfield for the bomb. Marino goes back to Smith. Nothing there for him. Shooting the gap was Darryl Talley, number 56, the most underrated player on the Bills roster. He grades out as their #1 defensive player, play after play. West Virginia.
When you have so many big-name stars on your defense like Cornelius Bennett and Bruce Smith and Art Steele, that sometimes Talley, you forget about him unless you're playing against him, and you know exactly where he is all the time if you're the opposing team.
You sure do, and he's double tough to get to him with a block because Smith is in front of him. He's always double teamed. 3rd down and 6 for Miami. Long ball. He's got a man down there. Duper cannot quite get to it at the 15-yard line. Mickey Sutton, the nickelback, number 20, was running with him stride for stride. Duper did have that extra step on him, and Marino is just a bit long. And the long-range bomber, Reggie Roby, now comes out to punt the ball. And wears a wristwatch when he punts.
I asked him about wearing that wristwatch. You know, punters are a little bit different kind of people. I said, why do you wear that watch? He said, oh, I'd see what time it is.
Check that hang time.
Yeah, why do most people wear watches?
I'll tell you, he unloaded that. Mickey Sutton wants no part of it, and it hops into the end zone for a touchback. And so the Bills will get the ball at their 20, and they will go 1st down and 10 with a 14-3 lead with 6:33 to play in the half.
Reggie Roby, one of the finer punters in the league, you know, before the game, he practices punting with a ball that weighs 3 times the weight of a normal ball. It's called the heavy ball, and he kicks that thing 50, 60 yards.
You know, I saw him yesterday in practice, and I noticed he wasn't kicking it as far as he usually does, but he seemed quite pleased, everybody, and so he probably didn't want to kick it out of the stadium, a regular ball.
He probably had that heavy ball. I tried to catch one of his punts one time. I was down in Miami training camp, and he kicked it up into the clouds, and when it came down, I tried to catch it. It ripped off my ring, my watch, my wrist, everything. Just tore everything off my hands.
Yeah, football weighs a lot when it comes down from that height.
Of course, I had my street shoes on. If I had my cleats, I'd have caught it.
And run it back.
That's right.
1st down Bills. They go to the run, and Thurman Thomas is right back at it, breaking into the Miami defense and out to the 30-yard line for a 10-yard gain and a 1st down.
I think we got a holding call, Don. This This is the worst thing a running back wants to see, that holding call. After you get your brains beat out and you look up and you see there was one of them holding calls. But all you get, I mean, it's tough these days.
Holding. 70 offense. Still first down.
That's Joe Devlin on the hold. You know, it's just so tough for these guys to try to block these big defensive linemen. Joe Devlin gets his hands out a little bit too far. You see him on number 56, John Offerdahl, but he buries him after he gets him turned a little bit. And then Offerdahl playing with a little bit of a sore ankle. It's tougher to play on this AstroTurf when you got a bad ankle. You just can't get the traction you need.
There's no question. There's a lot of ankle problems on it. Smith was concerned about it. He likes grass, and Thurman Thomas likes anything as long as he's got the ball, and he drives again across the 10-yard line and out close to the 15. Barry Krause was on the tackle. Played high school ball in Pompano Beach, Florida. Indianapolis extends its lead now to 10-3 over the Patriots. We have 5 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the first half here at Rich Stadium. Game moving along quickly. Bills running the ball and taking a 14-3 lead. McKellar got that 21-yarder, goes in motion. He'll lead the blocking now for Thurman Thomas, who dips in, dips out, cuts back. He's across the 20. He's trying to races out across the 30-yard line and out to the 33. William Judson knocked him out of bounds finally. Thurman Thomas is the second leading rusher in Big 8 history. Had he not suffered a knee injury, he would have been ahead of Rozier. Michael Rozier, the leader.
This is excellent running. He takes the ball outside and then turns it up the field, and he's not through yet. He's got that instant acceleration that he's able to stop and then get back going at full speed within 1 or 2 steps. That was an 18-yard gain there with Thurman Thomas. He's got 10 rushes for 92 yards already.
Man. 1 of 30 yards, a work of art for a touchdown. The Bills' second score.
I think he's getting oxygen now on the sideline.
While he's out, they go back to Kenneth Davis, and he can run. A former Green Bay Packer who came here as a Plan B free agent. He gets the ball to the 37-yard line. Hugh Green, number 55, got him for the Dolphins.
Hugh Green, heart and soul of this defense, and Hugh Green, you see him taking on a blocker, just trying to read the play, sheds the blocker, and then makes the tackle on Kenneth Davis. You know, when you're sitting on the sideline and you got a guy in front of you, like Thurman Thomas having a great day, you just can't wait to get in because you think you can do some of the same things that Thurman Thomas is doing. I think I can do it sitting here watching. I know that's not right.
He makes it look easy. Kennebrew on second down and 5 gets ahead for a couple of yards. Offensive line coach for the Bills, Coach Bresnahan. Tom Bresnahan. There he is on the sidelines. It was widely reported here that Bresnahan and another assistant, Nick Nicolau, got in there's Nick on the right, into a slugfest, into the best of friends. We don't know what happened in that tape room when they were watching game films, but it's over and forgotten.
This is football. I mean, things like that happen a lot of times. I mean, they've blown it way out of proportion. Fights happen all the time in professional football, probably at every level.
Here's Wright, long ball downfield. Beebe trying to run under it. Knocked out of bounds at the 27-yard line. The sprinter, Don Beebe, the Bills' top choice this year. He was picked in the 3rd round. They haven't had number 1 choices the past 2 years, and they didn't have a 1 or a 2 this year because of the Cornelius Bennett trade.
When you have a guy that runs 4.2, you just set him out there and say, run down there as far as you can, and we'll throw it as far as we can and see if we can come up with a... Oh, he ran out of bounds, but, you know, you just take a chance. You got a guy 4.2, let him run. See if we can get a big one.
It was still almost a good catch, even if it was out of bounds.
That's right. That would have been one that he'd been talking about over dinner tonight, even though it didn't count.
Schwade's back in the lineup, and here is a tremendous punt by John Kidd. And Scott Schwade's lets it hop. It takes a Bills roll, and they're going to down the ball inside the 15-yard line. So John Kidd hits a beauty, and instead of hopping into the end zone, that 48-yarder takes a jump back, and the Bills down it. Miami keeps the Bills from scoring this time, but now the Dolphins and Marino have the long field to go. Of course, easy goer to run again against Sunday Silence. 7 races, $10 million in prize money from beautiful Gulfstream in Allendale, Florida. There's a sack of Dan Marino. They get him, and the streak ends. Jeff Wright was almost a safety, as Dan Marino is sacked for the first time in 20 games. Jeff Wright, a second-year nose tackle, who the Bills think is going to be a star eventually, drafted in the 8th round from Central Missouri.
Jeff Wright, number 91, just powers over the middle. Marino holding the ball a little bit long, can't find anybody open. Jeff Wright does something that no one has been able to do in 19 games. And I talked to Roy Foster, one of the guys on the offensive line of Miami. He said the pressure was nobody wanted to be their guy that made the sack. But once they get it over with, they can relax and go on and play now.
Well, whether they got help from on high, we don't know, but Jeff Wright was there. The last time he was sacked prior to this was back in September of 1988. Wayne Bickett of the Indianapolis Colts was the first to get him with O'Brien Alston. And now Jeff Wright, in the 20th game since then, gets him as a Dolphin in repose there.
He has a reason to celebrate because he sacked him, but let's be realistic. Dan Marino here been sacked 2 times in 20 games. I mean, that's not a big deal.
Even more impressive amount is the fact that's the first sack of Dan Marino in almost 800 passes.
And that's,
over 770 passes between sacks, pass attempts.
And that's as far as you can take it, Don. It's a nice thing to get your line fired up to try to get him once, but get him 2 or 3 times.
And I think what you were saying earlier about that hurry, he's a little bit more cautious just dumping it off with those very quick Bill linebackers back in zone coverage. He eluded a sack earlier, but he threw the ball to Cornelius Bennett, and the Bills turned it subsequently into a touchdown. 14-3, the Bills lead the Dolphins, and now Dan Marino and the Miami team up against it, positioned at their 1-yard line. Marino, living dangerously, fires it out, and Smith has the ball. And Sammy Smith is out across the 10-yard line and very close to a first down. Dan Marino hit hard. Bruce Smith got to him.
Looked like Dan came down on his wrist. A lot of times you got those guys that weigh 260 pounds coming down on you. You got to watch the way you fall. There's Bruce Smith coming in. Can't hold off, and he tries to hold him up a little bit. He's trying to hold on to him, trying to let him fall on top of him, and Dan gets his wrist caught a little bit underneath.
Bruce Smith is absolutely unbelievable.
And a class act.
Yeah, he's a fun guy. Boy, when he puts that helmet on, though, man, you're looking at a potential Hall of Famer here. Here he comes again. Marino again gets it away, though. And the Bills make the stop. Correctly, it was not a first down the previous throw because of the sack, and that was short of the first down also, so Miami will have to punt from deep in their own end as Darryl Talley comes up big for Buffalo and Coach Marv Levy. Reggie Roby ready to punt now at Rich Stadium, where the Bills lead the Dolphins 14-3. Roby hits it very well downfield in this warm, sunny day in western New York, and here comes Mickey Sutton running it back across the 30. Good special teams coverage by the Dolphins, but the Bills will have relatively good field position as they are now set to go 1st and 10 from outside their 35. Houston extends its lead over the Browns to 10-0 at Cleveland.
Taking that house of pain on the road, aren't they?
They are. After they beat the Bears at Chicago, Houston's going to be a force the rest of the way. Detroit with a 10-3 lead over the Packers at Green Bay. Bills with 1:48 to play in the first half, holding to a 14-3 lead. Reich sets up as they go to a 2-minute offense. 1st down and 10. Long ball. He's got Beebe out there. Beebe makes the catch. The fastest Bill is going to go the distance. He's in for a touchdown.
when you have 4.29 speed, like I said earlier, just throw it up there. You never know. Something good might happen. Just like this. Watch BB accelerate away once he catches that ball. There's nobody going to catch him. BB in there for the TD.
That's it. Boy, I'll tell you that. I guess he's legit with that under 4.3 speed.
So you never believe that till you see it.
From Chandran State. Not many guys can say that. They're from Chandran State. He's played high school ball outside Chicago. Very strong, small player.
Just a foot race. Once he gets by the bump here, it's all over with. And you got to give Frank Wright credit. This ball's right on the money, and he threw it so that BB could accelerate into the ball. BB, yeah, he'll remember this. This is one he can talk about over dinner tonight and be very happy about.
Forget that try out of bounds.
That's right. He said, you know, I almost had 2 today, but I got that 1.
He helped beat the Oilers at the Astrodome with a similar play. I think it was over 70 yards from Jim Kelly. That's his second TD throw and another on-the-mark strike by Frank Reich. His quarterback rating is almost 100. It's probably over 100 with his performance today so far. It was 98 coming in. He's been that good.
And he is so accurate. He's been so accurate today. His ball's right on the money.
And what does this do now, Ahmad, to the Miami Dolphins game plan? It looks like Marino's going to have to just start firing every down.
I think they're used to that. They've had that happen to them so many times. They get behind. They go back to what they do best, and that's throw the ball. And I'm sure that that's what Shula's saying right now. Trying to keep the guys calm, because at this point you don't want to panic. But with 1:39 left to go in the half, I think that Marino may work this clock as good as anybody in the league.
Dolphins drove the ball downfield after the opening kickoff and then hit on a 45-yard Pete Stoyanovich field goal to make a 3-0 lead. Since then, Buffalo's offense has come on like a deluge, building up a 21-3 lead. Scott Norwood is set to kick it off again as Good and Reeves are back again for Miami. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. Our producer today is Terry Ewert. Our director, Ted Nathanson. We have 1:39 to play in the first half at Rich Stadium. Sold out again. Over 80,000 as the Bills en route to leading the National Football League in attendance again. At halftime, we'll be going to Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson at NFL Live, with scores and highlights and a profile of the beleaguered Jet coach Joe Walton, who's under the gun. Fumble ball. Jerry Good picks it up, and he's downed at the 20-yard line. Mickey Sutton, number 20, got to him. So the Bills cover well on special teams, and again, Marino has a long way to take his offense and not much time to do it. 1:37 to play in the first half.
It's amazing how star players set the tone.
Buffalo with an overwhelming margin on the scoreboard and in total offense amount.
Buffalo 222 yards, Miami 103.
Personal foul. Low block. Number 38 on the return. First down.
But the big numbers are on that scoreboard. Bills 21. The Fish 3.
Signs all over to squish the Fish. Willard Reeves, the new Dolphin, because of the injuries to some of their runners. Mark Logan is out. Troy Stratford's out for the season. Hugh Green wants something good to happen here.
Hugh Green trying to get his troops fired up. They're still in a game like this. They've got instant scoring power.
That's one thing. The Dolphins are never out of the game with a player like Marino. Marco's down, and Marino almost is, and now he says to Cornelius Bennett, the whistle blew, friend. We come in peace.
The offensive line was moving up and down like a typewriter that time.
Ball start. 61 offense. First down.
Don Shula doesn't like those kinds of mistakes. You see Roy Foster backing up a little bit, number 61. They're backing up a little bit before the snap of the ball. Sets them back a little bit, but this shouldn't bother them. It's a 5-yard penalty. They got 95 yards to go, so as opposed to 90.
Marino in the end zone. Here come to rush. Marino with a lightning throw and a connection out to the 20-yard line. Very close to a first down. They'll be just short of it. 1:23 to play in the first half. 15-yard gain on the play. Don Criqui with Ahmad Rashad at Rich Stadium. Bills 21, Dolphins 3. Miami's Dan Marino, who saw his consecutive games without a sack end today when Jeff Wright got him a short time ago. Red Banks makes the reception, and the clock is stopped with 1:03 to play. Miami calling a timeout.
Leonard Smith there, the Warriors, slinging him down.
63 ticks left in the half. We'll be back in a moment. The ball is out to the 35-yard line, but the Bills are not in that deep zone. Will give that to Miami all day with little time and a long way to go.
The thing is about that, Marino will throw a couple of them over the middle, and next thing you know, he'll throw one down the field.
Incomplete pass stops the clock with 42 seconds to play.
I mentioned earlier about that heavy ball that weighs 3 times the weight of a normal ball. The Marino also uses that ball to warm up. So I'm sure that once he gets out there and throwing the ball that's the regular weight, that he can really whip that baby.
He passes with the extra.
Yeah, he warms up with it. He warms up throwing that ball real easy just to get his arm loosened up and strengthened.
We know it's strong. Bills corners come up tight, bump and run coverage. Here's another throw and a catch to Mark Clayton out to the 45-yard line with 36 seconds to play in the half. An 11-yard gain, but the clock is running, and the Bills are in the lead 21-3.
Don, a lot of times the reason you throw that ball over the middle, because you break one tackle, you're off to the races. That's where you get the big plays, over the middle.
Looked like a good play. Fred Banks on his knees makes the reception at the Bills' 46-yard line. And now Miami takes another timeout with 16 seconds to play.
Number 3.
Bills protecting against the long ball, but Ahmad, they're getting that intermediate range stuff downfield. They could be in position at least for a field goal.
Yeah, the trick is you just want to stay calm. You know, you don't want to. A lot of times guys I think, well, throw the ball to the sideline, get the ball and get out of bounds. But if you can throw the ball in the middle and just take up big chunks of yardage, the next thing you know, you're down in field goal range. And I think that's what Miami's trying to do. They want to get some points. And a lot of times when you throw the ball and you get it right by the sideline and you run out of bounds 3 times, the next thing you got to do is punt. But in this situation with Marino, you got to master at it, throw the ball over the middle, eat up a bunch of yards, and at least try to get 3 points out of the thing.
Marino's numbers looking impressive, 13 of 17, but that one critical throw he made that was intercepted by Cornelius Bennett was quickly turned into a touchdown, and really Reich, who's passed a limited number of times for the Bills, has hit the big throw. He hit a 63-yarder. Don Beebe for a touchdown to extend the Buffalo lead to 21-7. Second and short. Marino takes a look deep. Downfield throw. It's too high for Mark Clayton with John Hagee covering. Bruce Smith is getting there just as he releases the ball.
You know, they've had a chance to discuss a lot of things today. When they were standing on the sideline this morning before the game talking, I'm sure Marino thought that he wasn't going to see him that much during the course of the day. It's like, yeah, I like you, but man, give me a break. Watch Marino. As soon as he lets his ball go, Bruce Smith is right there on him. And Bruce is just letting him down easy if you can do that at 260 pounds.
He really is. He's showing some kindness when the ball's away. What was that you were saying about Bruce Smith? He lines up all over the field on different players.
And, you know, yeah, the thing is where the pressure is, they like to put Bruce Smith on the weakest lineman. So when you look up and see him, you know what they think about you.
They got a couple guys on him now. Here's a long ball. Men are open, but so are now the Bills recover. And it's tipped away in the end zone with 4 seconds to play. Andre Brown went high. Mark Kelso and Nate Odoms both were there to block it away. There's the free safety, Mark Kelso.
This is a play. On this ball, I just think that there's a chance for this ball to be caught. You got 3 Miami Dolphins around, but anytime you throw it up in the air like that, everybody panics and gets tight. You got to stay loose and go up there and really try to catch the ball. Odoms made a pretty nice play knocking it away. Comes over the top, number 37, knocks the ball away.
So now the Dolphins on what will probably be the last play of the half for Coach Shula's team. Set up, 4th down and 2. 4 seconds to go. Marino looking for the end zone, shuffles it downfield. He gets it to Crash Jensen, and he takes on tacklers, and that will conclude the first half play. As again, Bruce Smith was a moment away from sacking Dan Marino. I don't know if Bruce Smith has ever played a better half, and he plays a lot of great ones.
The great players rise to the occasion, and that's what Bruce is doing.
It's 21-3 at halftime. Buffalo. Now let's go to NFL Live and Bob Costas. Bob? Dolphins kick it off. Kenneth Davis backpedals into the end zone. He'll bring it out. He's across the 10-yard line with a cutback move and a hard strike by the Dolphins. Coming down on special teams was Greg Clark from Arizona State, number 60, and also Brian Kinchin, number 88. So the Bills go on offense, 1st and 10, starting in rare deep field position. They've started in very excellent field position most of their drives today.
A good old friend of mine, an old Dutch lady down in Miami named Hazel Prost, says that the reason the Dolphins are going to win it all because they have defense. They're going to have to show some defense right now to prove that statement.
Buffalo's been hitting with the whole offensive arsenal. Handoff goes to Thurman Thomas. This is a big part of it. 10 carries for 93 yards in the first half for Thurman Thomas. Averaging over 9 yards a carry. And, of course, his 30-yard touchdown run, one of the hallmark plays of this season.
The offensive line like to block for a back like this because they know once they get on a block, they just ride the block and let Thurman Thomas make the decisions. You see Thurman getting inside the blockers and then bursting forward for that extra yard.
E.J. Jr., 54, was in, backing the line. Dave Aarons, Barry Krause, Hugh Green, the backers. Klein, Sauché, and Cross up front. They haven't sacked Frank Reich, the best sacking team in the American Conference. Here's a crossbuck. Quick slant on a 2nd down and 4 play, and that'll take the ball close to the 27-yard line.
That's the first time I've heard crossbuck in a long time. That was a crossbuck, too. Though when you get to the pros, they make it sound a little bit more confusing.
That's right. Quick XL slant trap.
That's right, which computes to a crossbuck. And here is that crossbuck. See Frank Reich turn around, hand that ball up to Big Brew, and he just pounds inside. Offerdahl in on the tackle first. And another host of Miami defenders.
George Hallis knows Decatur Staley's used to run that crossbuck, didn't they, Mud?
That's right. That's the first play I ever learned as a football player, the old crossbuck. And the last play I learned as a professional was the old crossbuck.
But you never played a lot of touch football?
No, not too much touch football. I mean, guys in my neighborhood, they touch. They didn't know what that was all about. Football, you tackle.
Equipment or not?
Equipment? We didn't have any equipment. If you didn't want to play, they let those guys play basketball or something.
Reich, very under control, plays within his limitations, always prepared. Levy says that's his greatest strength. Even in the previous 4 years when he wasn't playing, he was always ready to. Thurman Thomas runs the ball on 1st down, and he gets it out now close to the 32-yard line.
As a running back, when you watch films, you always want to critique yourself on what kind of decisions you make as a runner. When you see the opening, you got to go to it. Thurman Thomas makes great decisions every time he carries the ball. That last play was a play that was supposed to hit inside tackle. He dipped it outside and then took it right up the field and got a big gain on it.
Offerdahl getting a lot more playing time now. John Offerdahl, who was late reporting, is an inside backer now. Barry Krause, he's in for Aarons.
Sheila said he's only had 4 days of practice.
On 2nd down and 5, the Dolphins do a better job stopping the run, and here comes a penalty marker thrown by the referee. Brian Sauché on the tackle. A holding call is signaled against the Bills. Buffalo with a noticeable lack of emotion to start the 3rd quarter after just this whole place was a frenzy in the first half. Got Kinnebrew for holding.
This is what the Buffalo team has to guard against. You can't come out and think you got this game won because you put 21 points up on the board, because you're playing against a Miami Dolphin team that can put points up in a hurry. You got to have half-to-half improvement to win any game, and if Buffalo doesn't come out, I guarantee you that Miami is sitting there ready to pounce on an opportunity.
Second down and 15 coming up now for the Buffalo Bills. The ball positioned at their 23-yard line. Bill Polian, the general manager of the Bills, was saying aloud to us at halftime he thinks this could be the all-time Bills attendance. 80,500 tickets distributed. Here's a swing pass that goes to Thurman Thomas. He's across the 30, not done till he gets out to the 38-yard line. Very close to a first down on a second down play. It was second and 15, and he got 14 yards.
You can now understand how he kept Barry Sanders on the bench.
At Oklahoma State.
At Oklahoma State. He does it all well. He runs well out of the backfield. He catches well, and he can certainly turn it on once he starts in that secondary. He puts the fear into a secondary once he starts running with it because he breaks tackles so well.
Had a knee operation, and that's why he wasn't drafted in the first round, even though he had a great senior season after the knee operation. The Bills really looked at him a number of times, had a lot of doctors check him. He's been flawless, bulletproof while he's been here. The knee's sound, and now the Bills go to the Kennebrew run on 3rd and short, and we'll see if he got there. The Dolphins come in. The linesman comes in. It looks like it might be close enough to measure.
Well, they put that sledgehammer offense in where they bring in Jamie Mueller, line him up at fullback, and boy, he's a load. This has got to be the sledgehammer defense. Offerdahl coming up trying to plug the hole, and Mueller just knocks him backwards, and Kennebrew does the rest. You have to just give yourself up. This one is for the boys. Jump up in there and take it.
Right. Bruce Smith getting one of his hands. Both of his hands are well wrapped. The better to whack you with.
Yeah, it looks like a fighter. It looks like a boxer's tape job.
Handoff. Thurman Thomas dipping inside and out. And finally he's thrown out of bounds by one of those B-2 bombers. Lewis Oliver, the free safety, got him. But the B-2 boys have not come into play a whole lot today.
No, they've kept them B-2 bombers out of the air today. Once again, an excellent decision by Thurman Thomas. He has the option of taking it outside or cutting it back in. He takes it inside, then cuts it back outside, and he's always going forward trying to get some extra yardage. And there you see Lewis Oliver. He just sort of laid him down. It looked, in fast motion, it looked like he slung him down, but he just laid him down.
Dolphin D, as you know, Ahmad, had 25 sacks already through the first 7 games. None today yet. They had 23 in 16 games a year ago.
They won't get many today if Buffalo's able to run the ball as well as they have been so far today.
Nobody to sack. 4 pass attempts. Kennebrew. Now here's the speed of a 260-pounder. Big Brew takes on people inside the 35-yard line. Oliver and Williams finally got to him, but Kennebrew at 260 pounds goes to the power run. There was nothing there. Then he kicks it into that other gear and goes 24 yards around right end.
Big Kennebrew. They have him. You see Offerdahl coming in, plugging the hole up, pushing Ken Hole back, number 67. Kennebrew resets and takes off. Now, remember, Don said he beat Herschel Walker in a 100-yard dash. That was quite a few years ago, but he still has some of that speed left. He says, I don't take the garbage out on Sunday morning. I run for yards.
He carries that skin, that pig skin. So the Bills get a first down on the 24-yard run by Larry Kennebrew. They've had the ball for almost 5 minutes to open the 3rd quarter. Here is Thomas inside and out and back in, and not much there. Dolphins shut it down. Langford got him. As the game clock ticks down to 10 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Oilers looking to take a 1-game lead in the AFC Central, up on the favored Browns at Cleveland. Cincinnati and Tampa Bay with a lot of points at Cincinnati.
Tampa Bay putting the test on everybody they play. They used to be a doormat. All of a sudden, they've turned it around. They've beaten the Vikings already this year.
Right. They have. Second down and 8 arises for the Bills, who lead the game 21-3 in the 3rd quarter. Reich with only his 5th pass attempt. Too high and very nearly played on by the strong safety Jarvis Williams, but he couldn't quite get to the ball to intercept.
I was just getting ready to say that we have, wait a minute, this guy's got a bird's eye view. Jim Marshall used to have a plane like that, and he flew it over a high school field and slammed in some power wires one time. He just wasn't in the right place and broke his leg, his arm, and I'm sure that wasn't Jim in that thing.
You never know it, Jim.
You know, you're exactly right about that.
The don't know what that thing is, but I don't want to be in it. It's flying about. 3rd down and 8 as Reich sets in the shotgun, and here comes the Miami rush. Reich steps in, and they get him. The Dolphins get their first sack of the day back at the 39-yard line. So the Bills are out of range of their field goal kicker, and they send out punter John Kidd.
Jeff Cross.
He's really been good. That's his 7th sack of the season for second-year man Jeff Cross.
He is really playing well, and he's been a surprise. They didn't expect this out of him. He just came to camp and said, I'm going to be one of the best in the league, and that's what he's been so far this year.
Put on 20 pounds of muscle in the offseason of the weightlifting program. 9th-round draft choice, playing like a first-rounder. The punt downfield is fair caught by Jarvis Williams. So the Dolphins finally get the ball in the second half with 8:57 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Whatever that thing is, biplane.
It's like something out of a Federico Fellini movie, some surrealistic contraption. Dolphins have not put up the points here at Rich Stadium. It's been tough for them in Buffalo as the Dolphins have been held to just a field goal today. And this crowd with the wave, the 80,000 plus as Marino takes a quick drop and an out pattern. The ball is dropped at the 15-yard line. Mark Duper had it right in his hands and lost it.
The thing about Duper is Marino has such confidence in him that you drop a ball like that, he'll come right back to him.
Exactly.
And that's the good thing about it. When you drop a ball, the thing you want is you want another one right away so that you don't have to really linger on that one that you dropped.
Dolphins trying to end a 5-game losing streak to Buffalo. And trying to avenge that heartbreaking opening day loss. There's a run by Sammy Smith. But markers are down as Sammy Smith rips off a big gainer, but it'll probably come back. Cornelius Bennett finally caught him.
Yeah, when they throw that flag in that area, it's definitely holding. But I don't know how you block this Buffalo defense unless you hold them, rope them, something.
Holding. 61 offense. 2nd down.
Roy Foster, the left guard.
Does not like that call. Roy trying to block. Just pushing and pushing, and that's questionable. He was on Freddie Smerlas. You know, it's just such a fine line between a good block and holding. You got to just live right and hope that they don't call you for it.
It all comes down to getting caught. Farrell Edmonds with a big play takes on a free safety, Mark Kelso. So the Dolphins get the ball to their tight end, Farrell Edmonds, a big, fast target from Maryland, and it's good for a 30-yard gain.
Mark Kelso making a nice play on that ball. Edmonds, a big, rangy type tight end, was wide open down the middle of the field.
I think there was a marker down the end zone, Ahmad.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 78 defense. First down.
Bruce Smith isn't so cordial now.
No, Bruce taking a little loop. I think they call that a loop. He's in there on Marino. And it's a little bit too much. Marino had let the ball go, and Bruce Smith has been doing that the entire game. I think this is just a sign saying, Bruce, you've got to stop that. I think the first half of the game, a couple times Marino let the ball go, and Bruce Smith still grabbed him. But even if he's letting him down easy, they're throwing a flag now saying you can't do that.
So it's a first down and 10 at almost midfield. Marino sprinting out and throws a quick pass, good for a gain of close to 8 yards. He hit Mark Clayton. 8 minutes and 8 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Buffalo in the lead 21-3.
Nate Odoms with a very unorthodox defensive style. It looks like he can't come up out of that crouch, but he still covers extremely well. He's playing as good as any defensive back in the league this year.
They're getting good play from Kirby Jackson to him out, the free agent on the other side.
You know what makes those defensive backs better? Bruce Smith.
Yeah, that makes everybody better.
Anytime you can put pressure on the quarterback, it makes your job a lot easier. I missed a chance to talk about Mark Kelso. Mark Kelso went to William Mary, the tribe.
That's it.
That's what it is, the William and Mary tribe. There's Mark Kelso with that hat, kazoo hat on. He played for the tribe of William and Mary.
The reason he wears that extra liner on his helmet makes him look like one of the Coneheads from Saturday Night Live.
That's right.
He had a concussion, so there's an extra layer of foam rubber on top. Replay is checking that last catch to see if it had both feet in bounds. That stops the clock with 8:08 to play in the third quarter.
There's that helmet. Strange looking helmet. I tell you one thing, it makes Mark a lot taller.
Yes, it does.
Stature. Here's the play again that they're trying to take a look and see if Clayton was in bounds. Looks to me like he's got both feet in.
Not to me. I don't know.
After further review, the play stands.
Told you.
That's right. You've been doing that, though.
That's right.
You've had those feet in a few times.
That's right. Reputation goes a long way in some of these plays, too. Mark Clayton's an all-pro. An all-pro, they give it to you.
You had a chance to visit with Mark a long time at practice yesterday. He's in great form.
He is. That's my man. He's one of my favorite players in the league.
Sammy Smith tries to dip to the outside, but Art still got him. Art still number 72, reaching out with the long arm. He's 6'7". They say you watch game films of still, he seems like he's blocked and he starts heading down the line. All of a sudden an arm reaches out and stops the runner.
He never ceases to amaze me. He's an incredible guy. He takes great care of his body. That's why he's been able to play so long and play at a very high level. He also has a friend that has a monkey who's a black belt in karate.
That I'd like to see.
I think he's going to bring it up for us next time we have this game, Don.
Downfield throw, and the connection is made to Mark Clayton inside the 40. He's running in the open field. He could go the distance. Mark Clayton takes it inside the 10, and he goes in. Touchdown, Miami. On a spectacular Marino to Clayton pass play that goes 44 yards.
44 yards to watch touchdown.
Don Shula's trying to get his team fired up, and that's the way you do it. Marino to Clayton, you got to turn something, you got to turn nothing into something, and that's exactly what Clayton does here. This is just a routine catch. Breaks a tackle there, gets by Mark Kelso, and now he's off to the races. Now watch him break it over to the left to get rid of those people chasing from behind. Then he protects the ball before he goes into the end zone. He is an excellent, excellent wide receiver, one of the best in the business.
Now the point after try by Stoyanovich is up and good, and the Dolphins are right back in it. They're down by 11, but that's not a lot when you have Marino and Clayton. 7:19 to go in the third quarter. Denny Lynch of the Buffalo Bills, Ahmad, just handing us a sheet here that they've set a new single-game attendance record. 80,422 tickets distributed. That's tickets sold. 214 did not show up.
I wonder where those people are.
Well, hopefully they're watching.
That's right. It's a great game.
Miami's back in it, though, on the 44-yard touchdown pass play from Marino to Clayton, and Kenneth Davis downs the Stoyanovich kickoff in the end zone. And the Bills will go on offense first and 10 at their 20.
This is the marks of a great receiver. A lot of receivers can catch, but what sets you apart from the other people is if you can run after the catch. Mark Clayton, Kirby Jackson missed him. Then he gets by Mark Kelso. Now watch him just start to weave a little bit to get away from everybody else. Nice move right there. Then he covers up the ball as he goes into the end zone. Mark Clayton.
Ever since we saw him beat Mark Gastineau in the weightlifting on the Superstars on NBC Sports World.
One of my favorite guys.
You know, this was a rare athlete. And smart. You see where he used that seal block off. He took Leon. Here's a handoff now going to Thurman Thomas, who is stuck at the line of scrimmage. So the big play on offense may have ignited the Miami defense, which has had trouble shutting down the run. Jeff Cross, 91, with a hard stick on Thurman Thomas.
Another note on Mark Clayton. He has such athletic ability. He can stand right underneath a basket and jump up and dunk two-handed.
Well, he goes over that. What is that? Tanner, how high is that wall they go over in the obstacle course?
10 feet.
He doesn't even use the rope. He just jumps up and catches the top of it. Hand off to Thurman Thomas, cutting back across the 20, and Thomas is out to the 31-yard line. On a second down and 11 play, he may have a first down. John Offerdahl knocked him down for the Dolphins. Squish the fish is the banner you see around Bill's Stadium, Rich Stadium.
Hugh Green, number 55, Thurman Thomas makes this play. Now, Hughes got to protect Thurman Thomas from going outside, so he plays it all the way outside. Thurman cuts back up inside and still gets through for the first down. He is such a great... He makes all the blockers better because he utilizes blocking as well as anybody I've ever seen. I keep comparing him to Walter Payton, and if he plays long enough, he may be up in those numbers like Walter Payton.
Back to the run into Thurman Thomas. On a first down carry, he takes the ball out to the 35-yard line, and he also runs the clock. Kept that Miami defensive out on the field a long time today, this Buffalo running game.
Yeah, they're wearing him down, just pounding at him. And Thurman Thomas again. Now watch how he just sort of, he's taking his time. He gets up in the hole and then turns on a little bit more speed. And when you just start pounding the ball all day at a defense, sooner or later they're going to get tired, and that's when the big run's going to go. Thurman Thomas, 17 carries, 138 yards, 128 yards. He'll be at 138 soon.
Career high already, and he's going to build on that with a long time to go. We're in the third quarter, 21-10 Bills. Hand off to Kennebrew. He breaks it, and Kennebrew takes on... Look at this. Unbelievable. He's down to the 24-yard line. Big Brew taking on people, and you don't hit him. He hits you with that hard right hand, that straight arm. 39 yards. Whoa, a face mask call. You're going to get Brew on it, I think.
On the run, he tried to stiff arm. Now, this is just a quick popper. That's another cross buck right there. Yep. Kennebrew just breaking into the secondary. Now, watch him switch the ball into his left hand. Oh, yeah, he's got a face mask.
Illegal hand. Number 28. First down.
Now, it looks like he got his face mask pulled also on the other end, but he was the first one to put his hand out and catch the Miami defender right by the face mask, and he let it go, and then on his way down, Louis Oliver caught Kennebrew's face mask. That was too late. You only get the first guy.
It was still good for a first down, though. The position of the ball is at the 44-yard line of Miami. A very important drive for both teams. If the Dolphins can stop the Bills and move it back on in there right down close in the game, if the Bills take it in, Miami will have an awful lot to overcome. It's Buffalo 21, Miami 10, 5:38 to play. Whoa, what is this? It might be a Miami fumble recovery. It is. Frank Reich lost the handle, bounced it off his knee, and all of a sudden this game may have turned. Marv Levy protesting. His arm was in the forward motion of throwing. They'll probably review it, Ahmad.
Marv Levy doing more than protesting. He's insisting that he was throwing the ball. His motion was going forward, but I don't think so. I think Frank Reich, I think his ball just slipped out of his hands. He was trying to stop the throw. He's looking downfield here, and as he goes forward, the ball, see, it's coming out of there now. That's a fumble right off of his knee.
Well, we'll be looking at this in detail when we come back to Rich Stadium in a moment.
Frank Reich here on this play actually lost the ball a couple of times. Now, as he goes to go forward, he's starting to lose it now. Then it touches his other hand, then off his knee.
I think his arm was coming forward.
Well, he started to lose the ball there, and then he tried to catch it again. Then it hit his knee.
That's a tough call.
I think it's a pretty good call by the refs.
Here's Marino throwing downfield, and it was almost intercepted by Darryl Talley, who had a free play on the ball but couldn't hold on as Marino tried to get it out quickly to one of his runners. Ron Davenport out of the backfield.
You'll see now why Darryl Talley is a linebacker. We get a replay of this shot. Boy, I'm telling you, that ball, I think it might have hit him in the face. He was like he was swatting flies. Ball coming right at him. Watch. Whap! Hit him right in the chest. But that's not his job. His job is to tackle people, and he does that as good as anybody in the league.
As you always say, if they could catch it, they'd be playing offense,
That's
right?
exactly right. The guys can't catch you, put them on the defense.
Second down and 10. They go to the run. Sammy Smith looks for some room, and he finds some. And look at this man take it across the midfield line and down to the Bills' 49-yard line. Smith was caught. Then he broke away. Bernie Coast ran for a touchdown, and Cleveland rallies from behind. They were down 10-0 to Houston. Now they lead 14-10.
That house of pain is looked like Cleveland took some aspirin.
How about they talk about Jerry Glanville getting bit by that snake? They said his enemies want to know what the condition Snake was in. The house of pain. It's a state of mind, he says. We take it on the road.
Sorry, but they've Excedrin up for him, look like in Cleveland now.
3rd and 2 for Marino and the Dolphins. They go to Smith. And Smith looks like he might be there. He had to get down to the Bills' 47-yard line. Darryl Talley on the bottom of the pile again.
Cornelius Bennett signaling that he didn't get there, but I'm sure that's what he would say. Bruce Smith, they put him on the right side of that line. They got 2 people blocking on him, and he still gets penetration into that line and makes the tackle. He's the first one on the ball carrier.
Both sides like a measurement, though, don't they?
Yeah. You know what? When you get tired, you really want a measurement. Please measure it. Try to catch your breath. I knew guys you'd call for a measurement when it'd be like 3rd and 6, trying to get a breather.
A reminder to our viewers that we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. The Dolphins didn't get there. It'll bring up 4th down and about a foot. So Coach Shula ready to make a decision. Offense is staying on the field.
When you're playing for first place, you got to go all out. Very good call by Don Shula.
What do you think we're going to see here tonight?
I think we're going to see that old crossbuck.
Old crossbuck.
You got to go. This is just a test. This is all right. You're a football player. You mean you can't get 1 yard? Everybody's pride's on the line and the backs.
Hand out to Smith, and he's stuck. The Bills think they stopped him. We'll see. The Bills are certain they did. Bruce Smith made the stick. We'll see where they stop the ball. So the Buffalo defense rises like Bruce Smith.
Bruce Smith stalking the field.
We're talking about the real thing right there, sports fans. Coach Shula has seen a lot of great ones.
And it's a good call by Shula. You got to go for that. But Bruce Smith says it's a challenge for me, too.
They lost about almost a yard.
Bruce Smith broke through that offensive line and made the tackle in the backfield. Here you see Bruce just taking a step to the side. Look, he's waiting for Sammy Smith. Smith on Smith. And Bruce now with a little dance there.
They say that acting after the play will keep you out of the Pro Bowl, but he'll be there.
Bruce Smith making an excellent play, steps to the right side of Jeff Dellenbach, gets into the backfield, and catches Sammy Smith before he's even able to jump.
So the Bills defense gives the Buffalo offense excellent field position, and they go to the run. Here's Thurman Thomas breaking into the Miami defense on a first down carry. He's down to the 47-yard line. Bruce Smith, a game ball winner last week, along with the offensive linemen of the Bills, because they ran the ball so well against the Jets. They ran 52 times against the Jets last week. They could run 50 times against the Dolphins today. They're in the 30s now, well into the 30s.
Bruce, my man, I've run out of things to say about you, babe. He is just awesome.
To say the least. An overpowering force. Now it is 2nd down and 5 for Buffalo. And off to Kennebrew. He finds some room. Dolphins hitting hard on the ball, but they can't free it. And it's a dance now to the 43-yard line. Fans of the Miami Hurricane may remember Frank Reich back in '84. He quarterbacked the University of Maryland against Miami in one of the greatest comebacks in college football history. The Canes led 31-0 at the half. Reich came in the 3rd quarter, quarterbacked 6 straight scoring drives. And this was a Miami team quarterbacked by Bernie Kosar the season after they won the national championship. And Maryland came back that day to win from 31-0 to win 42-40 behind Reich. was then drafted in the 3rd round by the Bills, played virtually not at all his first 4 years in the league because of the injury to Jim Kelly getting his shot as Thurman Thomas runs on 3rd and short, and it looks like he has a Bills first down. William Judson makes the tackle for Miami.
He has such great cutback ability. On this play right, this is a play for no yardage. Watch Thurman Thomas as he stretches the play towards the sideline and then breaks it back up for the first down. Right inside Judson, and then still powers his way to the first down. That is excellent running. Such an unassuming young man. Run into him in the parking lot, you might wonder what he does.
He does everything on the field. He runs, he catches, he blocks, picks up blitzes.
And he gets a bag of popcorn for me today.
For sure. 1st and 10. This is Kenneth Davis in the game. He can cut back. On first down, he takes it close to the 38-yard line. The Dolphins giving up the rush yardage much more grudgingly now in the 3rd quarter, which is slowly winding out. We're down to 148 and running in the 3rd quarter. Oilers come back to score, and they lead the Browns 17-14.
Running backs love to play behind this sort of an offensive scheme because, like I said before, the offensive line, they just get on the people in front of them and push them whichever way they want to go and let the back do all the cutting. And they've got a couple of cutback runners that are extraordinary. Extraordinary.
Whatever. They're right on both counts. And now the handoff goes to Thurman Thomas. Turning the corner on 2nd down, and good defense. Coming up to make the play was the rookie free safety, Lewis Oliver. Probably the biggest free safety in the NFL at 6'2", 225.
One of the strongest also. Andre Reed is a guy that we have not heard much from today. He had a nice little cutback block there, but he hadn't caught many passes, if he's caught any.
I don't think he has a catch all day, Ahmad. As you look at the schedule next Sunday on NBC Sports, NFL Live at 12:30. The Dolphins will be home to play the Indianapolis Colts. Buffalo goes to Atlanta for an interconference game. Cleveland at Tampa Bay, and then the doubleheaders, the Steelers and the Broncos at Denver, or the Bengals and the Raiders at Los Angeles. Next Sunday on NBC Sports. 3rd down and 5 as Reich stands in, gets time, throws and makes the connection. But the Miami defense is there to shut it down well short of the first down. Jarvis Williams, the strong safety, made the play on Flip Johnson. And you're right, Ahmad. He does not have a catch today. Andre Reed, leading catcher in the American Conference, coming in with 48.
Nice catch by Flip Johnson, just short of the first down.
Live action now as we go to John Kidd, ready to place a punt. He's good at getting it down inside the 20. We'll see how this goes. He gets it out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Buffalo Bills and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the National Football League, of the Buffalo Bills, and the Miami Dolphins, all rights reserved. Good punt. As the ball now will be spotted 1st and 10 on the 13-yard line of Miami. Dolphins have the only score of the 2nd half. That spectacular 44-yard touchdown throw, Marino to Mark Clayton. Bills led 21-3 at the half. Marino, as the blitz comes, and he gets the ball to Ron Davenport, who breaks one tackle and gets ahead for a gain of close to 7 yards. Bailey, number 54, and Nate Odoms combined on the tackle for the Bills, but the Dolphins get passing yardage on the play.
It's kind of neat to watch Marino pointing out everybody that they should block. Watch him just step inside of a possible sack right there and lets the ball go. They say one of the reasons that Marino doesn't get sacked, that he knows where everybody's coming from at all times and is able to avoid it.
Will conclude 3 quarters of play. So the Dolphins bring it closer. It's 21-10 Buffalo at the end of 3. 21-10 10. Bills in the lead as we start the fourth quarter. Don Criqui with Ahmad Rashad. When you come to the Buff, you have to have some of these. This is the local fare, the fabled Buffalo chicken wing.
That's right. They got them all over the country at every restaurant you go to, but not like the ones they have here in Buffalo. They got the mild sauce. They got the hot sauce. They got the, let me try some of these bad boys. Don,
I'm sick of them. We've had so many of these. They're delicious, but we've eaten a lot of wings in our last 2 weekends in Buffalo. Coach Shula told his players when they were all heading out for wings after practice, guys, go to the mild sauce, please. He didn't want any late night distress on his team.
And the wing they're counting on right now is Dan Marino's right wing. They want to get back in this football game. It's possible to talk with a chicken wing in your mouth.
I tell you, we've eaten a lot of wings. They're great. Used to be an appendage of the chicken, Ahmad, that they threw away up here. Some genius put hot sauce on it and cooked it a certain way.
Our own Paul McGuire claims he's responsible for it.
He's not, but he sold a lot of them in the fabled bistro that he had here. That was between when he was a player and before he was a television star.
That's where the weight came from.
Here's Marino. Quick out to Davenport. Lost the handle at the 28-yard line. Third down play. It was a critical one. Miami will have to punt it here. I'll tell you one thing, as the Dolphin fans all know, this team is never out of the game. Maybe they're out of the Houston game when they got buried 38-7.
Miami with just a little fake throws it right up. Perfect throw to Davenport. It's a play you got to make. That's a big play. You got to make the big plays. Turn something into, turn nothing into something. Well, Dan's a little upset. Maybe a lot upset.
Miami working without starting 2 runners. Troy Stratford out for the season. He was having a terrific year, knee surgery. Mark Logan is also out for probably 6 weeks. The punt is fielded for Buffalo by Mickey Sutton at the 41-yard line. With 14:03 to play in the game, and the Bills leading the Dolphins 21-10.
Buffalo Bills wide receiver Andre Reed.
We'll be right back to Rich Stadium after these messages from your local station. Bills go to the run as Kennebrew takes it to the 45-yard line where Opperdahl knocked him down. Rushing today, there's Ronnie Harmon, who will not play again today, was injured in the first quarter. That shoulder injury you talked about, Ahmad.
Ronnie looking rather dapper.
Yeah, he got the lid. He gets the hat award.
That lid, nice earring.
Bills have rushed the ball 38 times today for over 240 yards, averaging 6.5 yards a carry. Miami has only 47 yards rushing, 2.7 a carry. But they have the passing game. Here's a throw and a catch to McKellar. He's in open field and crashes down to the 33-yard line. Lewis Oliver makes the tackle.
This is what you can do when you have a running game that makes those linebackers come up and play very close to the line of scrimmage. They're right almost on the line of scrimmage. McKellar with just a little crossing pattern catches the ball and shows he can run pretty well too. B-52 Bombers. Oliver comes up there and makes the stop. Keller 2 receptions for 36 yards and very big receptions.
Yes, they have been.
They always come at a time when you catch those Miami linebackers up on the line of scrimmage trying to stop Kennebrew and Thomas.
Bills have built this team with very astute drafting. They got McKellar in the 9th round out of McNeese State 2 years ago. They think he could be a standout. Tremendous speed for a tight end. Thurman Thomas looking for room to weave. Dolphin linebackers pursuing down the line. They cut him down after a gain of about 4. Ernie Kosar just threw a 77-yard touchdown pass to Webster Slaughter. The Browns have come from behind to lead the Oilers 21-17. Big divisional game in the AFC East. New England rallies now and has tied the Colts at Indianapolis 10-10.
This Buffalo Bill team is really showing that they are a great football team, even without Kelly and Shane Conley.
Yeah, now they've got 2 top players, 2 Pro Bowl players. Shane Conley, a first-team All-Pro inside backer. He's been out for 6 weeks now. He's ready to come back after a knee strain.
There he is.
There he is. This is some player. Penn State.
Pretty good basketball player, too. I saw him down at the Superstars a couple years ago, and he can shoot the jumper.
Grew up in Frewsburg, New York, nearby to Rich Stadium. Played a high school playoff game here. He's some player, Shane Conlon.
A lot of range. They say that he makes the great plays. It's like almost they set the table for him, and he comes and just takes it off.
Impact tackler. Talk about his thunderous hits game after game. He stops the run. Now the Bills call a timeout. Reich has been counseled when they're in down close. When you see the defense, he's not certain of what to go against with. To call timeout and get some counsel, and he does that as Shula looks on. He had the Wright brothers up there earlier in some kind of a bicycle contraption flying. Now the bat is in the stands. And the Bills have third down and about 3 coming up. Thurman Thomas the setback. Thurman Thomas gets the ball. And Miami's defense finally gets Thurman Thomas to knock him down on a third down try. And now a long field goal try will be coming up. Scott Norwood is coming out. He's been a Pro Bowl kicker. He was in the Pro Bowl last January. He's hit 10 of 13 field goals this year.
Thurman Thomas, one of the few times today that they've been able to contain him. They haven't been able to do it much. He's already got 138 yards.
45-yarder. Normally at this time of year, wind is very much a factor in this part of western New York. There's virtually no wind today. Dolphins got an upset victory before the game. The weather, no wind, unseasonably warm. Here's the field goal try on the way and right through the middle. So Norwood pops one from 35, and with 10:22 to play in the ball game, the Bills get their first points of the second half. And they take a 24-10 lead.
As the fans go crazy singing, the Bills make you want to shout.
Next Sunday, join NBC Sports for an exciting NFL doubleheader beginning at 12:30 Eastern with NFL Live. Some of you will see Eric Dickerson and the Colts head south to Miami to face Dan Marino and the Dolphins. Others will see the Bills battle the Falcons at Atlanta. In the second half, the Steelers go to Denver to meet Elway and the Broncos. Plus, Cincinnati will be at Los Angeles as a second game in some parts of the country against the Raiders. Check local listings for the games in your area.
You know, Don, a very interesting stat was, I guess it wasn't a very interesting stat.
A very good statistician, Larry Pollock, wants to review it. We thought we had the first 100-yard rushers for the first time in one game for Buffalo since 1973, when the Juice and Bubby Braxton both were over 100.
The 45-yard field goal just completed by Scott.
It's still interesting. Even if it's wrong, it was interesting.
But we know that Thurman Thomas is way over 100, and the big man, Larry Kinnebrew, is very close to 100.
Yeah, a lot of times you throw them stats from that long ago, nobody knows.
Listen, one thing about our business, you never let the facts get in the way of a good story. Something you have to learn early in this business. Sam Jankovich taught me that out at the University of Miami.
Sam Jankovich recruited me out of high school to Washington State.
Yeah, he coached there. The Canes will be back. Took a tough one last night. A great win for Coach Bowden and the Seminoles, as running it back is Willard Reeves. He gets it across the 20 and out to the 23.
Sutton and Bailey made a stop.
Well, it gets a little heated down there at this point.
That's going to happen.
Butch Rowe got a nice little left hook in on that little exchange right there, but when you get a left hook to the left side of the helmet, the only thing that hurts is your hand.
Has he been banned? At any rate, the Dolphins go on offense, and Marino will be firing with the great wideouts, Clayton and Duper, ready to run those deep patterns. Here's Marino looking out, swings it out, and it's tipped away by Bruce Smith. He couldn't do something wrong if he tried today. He sticks a hand in the air and he almost intercepts.
The only thing Bruce Smith hasn't done today is sell popcorn up in the stands, because he's done everything else. Knock balls down, hurried throws. Bruce Smith, watch him come in putting pressure in, try to throw over him, he knocks the ball down. Hold the ball too long, he tackles you. You try to run the ball, he makes the tackle. Two-time Pro Bowl selection. I guarantee he's on his way to his third time.
2nd and 10, and they'll get him. Cornelius Bennett. 23 years old. Last year, in his first full season in the NFL, he was a consensus first-team All-Pro. From the Crimson Tide of Alabama, Cornelius Bennett.
They have sacked Marino 2 times a day, but Cornelius Bennett, you know, you don't hear about him for a long time because you know everybody's running away from him, but he's relentless. And right here, he shows that, hey, sooner or later, I'm going to get you.
You can pay me now or pay me later.
But you're going to pay sometime. Biscuit, Cornelius Bennett.
Snap to Marino. He's in trouble again. Dan Marino off the run. Dan Marino wants to be sure that pursuer knew that the whistle had blown. Jeff Wright, the man who ended the sackless streak, was almost at him again. Jim Jensen was another who said, we didn't even enjoy our win over Green Bay because we were looking so much to beating Buffalo.
A lot of times all that lip service backfires on you. Once again, Cornelius Bennett just coming at Marino. Marino tries to step up in the pocket, and Bennett gets the sack. But none of that talk doesn't help. I mean, you can talk as long as you want to. It doesn't bother anybody either. I mean, guys can say whatever they want. Once the game starts, then that's where you do your talking. And it always makes you upset when some guy says we. It's like we.
I'm going to get you, won't we, fellas? Marino, 3rd down and 21. In trouble again, and Marino sidearms the ball. It's incomplete at the 35. A masterful effort by Marino just to get it away. He had almost made a connection to Mark Clayton as the Bills were on him again. Cornelius Bennett and Bruce Smith, the All-Pros. Look at Smith.
Dan Marino showing his mobility. He steps up inside the rush. Watch Bruce Smith still coming down on 78, and he gets him just as he lets that ball go. Once again, Marino showing that he's going to throw it some kind of way. Here comes Bruce Smith, and he just gets it away. Almost completed to Mark Clayton, but almost all that does is bring in your punter on.
Roby in the end zone. One hop snap, but Roby gets it away. Hits a line drive downfield that Sutton will return from his 46. And he's down to the Miami 45-yard line. Lifford Hobley on the tackle for the Dolphins as players have to be separated after the kick return. And there's a penalty marker down with 9:12 to play in the game.
Well, all that old pushing and shoving doesn't do anything. It almost looks silly, you know, you're pushing and shoving, and and you know, you're pushing and shoving, you're about to get a guy, and then a 150-pound referee pushes you apart.
Call's going to be against the Dolphins. Bills extending their lead in the second half after the Dolphins got
Personal
close.
foul, face mask, number 34, kicking team. It's declined. First down.
34, Nu'ufaola.
Yeah, this is the old chicken fighting is what old Bud Grant used to call that. Yeah, chicken fight, pushing him chicken.
And there's a timeout as Nu'u goes to the sideline.
Well, the only way that you can cool down Bruce Smith is you do this, throw water in his face, but I dare you to do it, Don.
No, I'm not going to do that. The enforcer. First down and 10. Bills with the ball. Thurman Thomas takes it across midfield.
Thurman Thomas.
John Bosa, who the Dolphins are waiting for a big return from, the #1 draft choice 3 years ago out of Boston College, who was out a full year. He was injured in October of '88. Knee reconstruction, just getting back into form. Cleveland, after trailing 10-0, now extends its lead to 28-17 over Houston, so the Browns in position to lead the division along with the Bengals. AFC Central.
Cincinnati back on track, Don. 42 points they put up.
Yeah, they were down early. Bills leading 24-10. 8:29 to play in the game. 2nd down and 8. Back to Thurman Thomas, who has a career rushing day as he extends his yardage every carry. Best production of his career, and he's had some tremendous days.
He is just lightning quick. He finds a crack, and his ability to accelerate through the hole is just phenomenal. You don't have to have a big hole for him to get through. Watch here. He makes a decision and just bolts through there.
Nice numbers, Ahmad.
24 rushes, 144 yards. He's averaging 6 yards a carry. 1 touchdown.
We want to send congratulations and best wishes to our unit manager, Kimmy Pontillo, who was recently married.
Who's the lucky guy?
There was an attorney named Bill Collins who took her golfing, didn't he, on her honeymoon? They went to Scotland to play golf. And she knows what she's in for.
She can handle it.
3rd down and short. They go to Kennebrew, and he can't quite get there. Big call now for the Bills. They're out of range for Norwood, leading by 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points. 14-point lead. Game clock running.
These fans here have suffered so long at the defeat of Miami that they're begging to pour it on.
Oh, for the 70s. Lost 20 straight games in the 70s to Miami.
One of my biggest highlights, I played here for the Bills for a couple years. We could never beat Miami. And when I went to Minnesota and we beat Miami, I celebrated much more than everybody on the team. They couldn't understand why. It was that because we finally beat the Dolphins.
Even if you were wearing purple.
That's right.
Beat the traffic congestion to Rich Stadium. Catch the Buffalo Bills Express bus.
Coach Levy and the Bills talk this thing over. I tell you, there's a very good feeling in this organization. I mean, it's a very together group. I don't know.
It really is. It's a family atmosphere, and you got to have that if you're going to have any success in the National Football League. Somehow it has to revert back to the way you were in high school, where you care about all the guys. That's why they can have a fight between the coaches. It doesn't bother them. They just keep right on going. It's nothing that they're going to just all of a sudden blow up and say, oh, boy, we got dissension, we got problems. They got nothing but a good football team, and they're headed in the right direction.
Tonight on NBC, the Call of the Wild is for help when the magical world of Disney presents Ernest Goes to Camp, followed by the no-nonsense comedy of Sister Kate. And a lady grappler puts the move on one of my 2 dads. Then 227's Jackie will double your pleasure. An NBC world premiere movie that's tonight only on NBC.
Was that your line, no nonsense?
That was written there. Some genius at 30 Rock. You know. 4th down and 2. 2 fullbacks in the game. They're waiting for Miami to jump, and they didn't do it. These Dolphins are well schooled. They're one of the least penalized teams in the NFL every year. Usually the least penalized.
Don Shula does not stand for mistakes. You make a lot of mistakes on Shula's team, you make them somewhere else.
I'll tell you, the coach looking good. He's approaching 60. He's not aging. Although any more of those 6 and 10 years will he's not looking for those. This was a turning point last year. The Dolphins, through 7 games, were 4-3 in '88. Then they lost 7 of their last 9 to finish 6 and 10. And of course, they're 4-3 coming into this game, having won 3 in a row. Dug a deep hole early. They were down with a 1-3 record. Scott Schwades is back deep now, along with Jarvis Williams. John Kidd stands in, hits a high punt. Well placed, of course, as Schwades into a fair catch at the 9-yard line. Scott Schwades from Syracuse coming off the injury list. Back in action, a 33-yard punt by Kidd, and no return, as you see. The Dolphins down 24-14, or 24-10. Miami down by 14 points with 6:56 to play. The Bears start to get it together. Now they lead the Rams 17-3. New England has taken a 3-point lead on the Colts. If that ever held up and Buffalo beat Miami, the Bills would have a 2-game lead in the AFC East heading into the second half of the season. There's those big numbers by the Bengals you're talking about, Ahmad. Cincinnati with 42 points. Marino on 1st down just gets it away, and it's a bit high as Dan Marino is under pressure every single throw. Bruce Smith got him again. He took out the tackle also. Ronnie Lee, he's banged up.
It's not so much in sacking Dan Marino, but just putting pressure on him. Anytime that you hit a guy, every time he throws the ball, it takes a toll. I mean, Marino, although he's only been sacked twice today, he's been on the ground numerous times. I mean, I don't know if there's any difference. I guess you get a sack in the sack column, but if you knock the quarterback down every single time, it doesn't make any difference to him. He's getting knocked down nonetheless.
So Ronnie Lee is attended to by the Dolphin trainer. Louis Cheek will come in.
Spectators are reminded that it is unlawful.
The Dolphins will be back home at Joe Robbie Stadium next Sunday to play the Indianapolis Colts, who at the moment are losing to New England 13-10 at Indianapolis. Now we're told about this is the 6th time in Bills history that 2 backs have rushed for 100 yards in one game.
I knew it would become interesting sooner or later.
You have a long list of Dolphins when they had Kick and Zonka. Scheduling seems to be with the Dolphins the rest of the way. The Colts at home, then they play the Jets in New Jersey. The Jets at the moment can get arrested.
Neither can Dallas.
They couldn't score against a strong wind the way they're playing lately. I mean, Dallas doesn't win at all. Marino under pressure as Bennett came hard on a blitz, and Dan Marino had to trigger his throw early.
A lot of their pass plays are timing routes that Dan has to make a decision and fire and hope that the receiver makes the same decision. That one just misfired a little bit.
Bills go to Atlanta, home to play the Colts, and at New England. Then they come home Thanksgiving weekend to play Cincinnati. Tough one at Seattle. New Orleans here. New Orleans is a coming team right now. Then at the 49ers. Finally at the Jets.
When you're playing well like the Bills, it doesn't matter who you play.
Here's Marino on a sprint out on 3rd down and 10. Throwing a catch to Clayton, and he's ahead for a 1st down. And finally stuck hard by the Warrior.
The Warrior.
Warrior's selling those T-shirts around.
He's got those T-shirts with a feather. He got a feather in the back of his hat that he wears. He said he used to chase down seagulls at training camp and pluck a feather, and he just wore it every day at practice, and he always has a feather now. And T-shirts.
Some serious speed chasing down those gulls.
That's right.
They were flying when he got them.
That's a leaping ability.
Nate Odoms, one of the Bills' best defenders, banged up. Young player from Wisconsin having a tremendous season. 3 interceptions already, but his coverage has been among the, you were pointing out, there's this better cover guy right now in the conference.
Now, he's playing so well. You know, you think you can beat him because he's got that unorthodox style. As soon as you try, that's when he starts knocking balls down.
Now a 5'7", 160-pound corner is in against him, and that's where Marino will probably be going. He's taking Duper. The lower portion of the screen, his name is Chris Hale, but he can dunk a basketball. Here's Marino sprinting out, looking downfield, directing traffic, and throws the ball away wisely as Art Still was in pursuit of Dan Marino. 5:58 to play in the game. The Bills lead it 24-10.
Art Still, very quiet, very efficient, and constantly attacking that quarterback. He says the thing he likes about Walt Corey is he doesn't try to coach us too much. He just turns us loose and lets us play. You know, he lets us play. You don't want to confuse anybody on the defense. If they know exactly what they're supposed to do, then their production goes way up. It's a lot of those defenses where you got 18 different kinds of sets that guys make a lot of mistakes. Walt Corey doesn't believe in that.
Well, he believes in this defense, gives him reason to believe. And here's a downfield throw and a catch at the 40-yard line on 2nd down and 10. Good for a 1st down. Andre Brown, a free agent from Miami of Florida, turns in and makes a 14-yard reception.
In situations like this, it's much easier to catch that ball over the middle. Nice move by Brown. Gets inside the cornerback. Ball's right on time.
Picked off by Kirby Jackson. Was he inbounds? He was. It's a Buffalo interception of Dan Marino by Kirby Jackson, who's quite a story. He was a 5th-round draft choice of the Jets, who cut him. Bills picked him up as a free agent. Derek Burrows, one of their best, went out with an injury. And Kirby Jackson has played superior football as he does in this play. Let's see if he gets feet in. He does. The official right there says it's an interception.
You see the Dolphins pointing at he was out of bounds, but it was an excellent break on the ball by Kirby Jackson. Tom Olivadotti. Dan Marino a little bit upset. He expects those receivers to come back to the ball. You don't come back to the ball, it causes an interception.
Spotters Michael Gluck and Pete Fearley. It was Andre Brown, the intended receiver. Now the Bills will go to the run as they put it in the arms of their fullback Kennebrew, and he takes on tacklers down to the 36-yard line. Jeff Cross tackled him, but the Bills now in possession of this game as long as they can run the ball and keep it away from Marino.
Their offense is just awesome. They pound that ball and pound that ball away from you. The moment you bring those linebackers back, they hit the tight end right behind the line of scrimmage, and they just keep coming at you. I think when you have a guy like Thurman Thomas constantly putting pressure, it's very hard to contain that Buffalo offense.
Kennebrew got 77 last week, Ahmad. He's up that this week.
18 rushes, 110 yards, and Lewis Oliver limping out a little bit. And if you give Brew the ball 18 times, 20 times in a game, you're going to get a lot of people limping out of the game because he really brings it when he carries it.
Bills now have their run total up to 45 rushes in this game.
And Don Shula used to do this with Larry Zonka to everybody in the league. They brought that running game in here, and they just pounded you and pounded you and pounded you, and there's really nothing you can do. You can't keep the ball very long, and anytime you make a mistake, you give it back to an offense that's just going to pound it and get those long drives again.
There's some offense, wasn't it? Old Chicken Little out in front.
Yeah.
Reese gives to Zonk.
Kick, Murphy Morris.
Kennebrew runs the ball inside the 35-yard line. Harvey Green of the Dolphins was pointing out yesterday the prolific touchdown production of Dan Marino, and Greasy, who's probably going to be a Hall of Famer, hasn't been voted in yet, but he passed his career touchdown mark in less than half the time.
Now that's an excellent stat. Excellent stat.
Yes, we see that. Our producer's telling us we see a fight, and we see it right there.
That's not much of a fight. It looks like a pushing match to me. It's absolutely nothing. You end up getting a penalty or getting yourself hurt. It'll back you up over the pile.
Greasy played 14 years. This is just the 7th season for Marino, and he's over 200 touchdown passes. Nobody in football has ever come close to that production.
I have never seen anybody with the release, with the accuracy, and I saw Joe Namath play many times, but Dan Marino is just in a class by himself. He's had so much pressure on him. He's had to do it all by himself the last few years. All the numbers he's racked up, he's done it without a defense. And he's such a competitive guy. You know, you get those kind of numbers, they mean nothing. He wants to win a football game. That's why those interceptions don't bother him. It's like, I'm trying to win a game. You know, I'm not concerned about my statistics. I'm trying to get out here and win a doggone game.
Put it up 35 times a day. The Bills have sacked him twice. And very nearly a lot more than that. They've forced a lot of errant throws. 2nd down and 9 coming up. End up to Kennebrew. And he's out of bounds at the 25-yard line, stopping the clock with 3:23 to play.
Well, a nightmare for a cornerback is when you got the wide receiver blocking on you, and you know that if you shed that block by the wide receiver, here comes a 260-pounder going about 9'9" right at you. That's when you want to stay on the block.
Look at that.
48 rushes, 8 passes.
8 passes. That's some graphic.
It really is. The other graphic is 24-10.
Yeah. That's the one they pay off on.
That's right.
Throw up the middle, and it's behind Andre Reed. Dolphins have taken him out of the game for the most part. An all-pro receiver. They were saying in practice yesterday, Ahmad, that Andre Reed, one of the greatest things that happened to him when he went to the Pro Bowl as an alternate last year and was lining up with guys like Toon and Eddie Brown and saw he was as good as they were, and he came back knowing he was a terrific player, really believing it. He is.
That's what you find out when you go to the Pro Bowl. You look around you and you say, hey, I belong here. I'm as good as these guys. And your level the very next year after the Pro Bowl goes up tremendously because you feel the pressure and the pride of playing at that level every game.
I like what your friend Fran Tarkinen says about the Pro Bowl. He says nobody plays in the Pro Bowl, including the people there. The field goal attempt by Norwood is no good with 3:15 to play. Bills going for a long one, so the Dolphins send their offense out. Down still by a 24-10 count. Now the Colts have come back to lead the Patriots in the fourth quarter, 17-13. New England's been rallying. Miles going right back in that big sack of corn here.
You know, this is some of the best popcorn I've ever had in my entire life. You know, my hat's off. I tip my hat to the popcorn makers here in Buffalo. Not to mention the person who brought them wings over here.
That's right. Here comes Marino in the Miami pass offense. Downfield throw, tip ball intercepted. It's picked off. It was intended for Clayton. Kirby Jackson has his second of the day, and he's not done as he weaves inside the 20. Jackson's going in. Touchdown, Buffalo. 40 yards, and it's over. That's the free agent that the Jets cut. And the Bills slam the lid on. They're up 30-10 with the extra point coming. Ahmad?
If that run wasn't a woo-wee, it was certainly a woo.
Yes, it was. I think that was a woo-wee.
I'm telling you, he broke a lot of tackles. I think 2 or 3 times they thought he was down, and he kept running and showing his ability as a runner.
Norwood hits the point after, and the Bills extend their lead to 31-10 as Kirby Jackson has his biggest moment in the NFL, taking one back for a touch.
Anytime that you get a tip ball that goes up in the air, the percentages of you getting an interception go way up. This is a ball that Clayton's trying to get. He tips it right back to Kirby Jackson, but this is where the play starts right now. He starts running back towards the middle of the field, then breaks it over to the left side. Now, the thing is, these offensive players, they have not made a tackle since high school. They've always been offensive players. That's why it's so dangerous when a defensive back starts running back down the field. You got guys that aren't used to making tackles. And they're shouting in Buffalo.
They're up and singing the Buffalo shout song. The bat is flying. Dan Marino, as he sees it, went to the wrong guy, and now he's got to defend.
He starts to back up. There's nothing Dan do. He can't tackle. You know, there's no sense trying to throw his shoulder in there and losing himself for the rest of the year. The guy's going to run over him. He's got a chance of getting injured.
The career of Joe Namath was shortened, making plays and making tackles and interceptions. Suffered major knee surgery, major knee injury, tackling Detroit linebacker Paul Newmoff one year.
Quarterbacks in high school usually make tackles, but that's because they play middle linebacker defense.
Yeah. High spinning kick downfield by Norwood. Willard Reeves runs it back for the Dolphins, and he's cut down at the 15-yard line by Chris Hale, the smallest build. A little cornerback from Southern California, number 26. And now a new quarterback is in, Scott Sequel, second-year player from Virginia. They really think he can be good.
You know, this is really an interesting thing. When you're in a game like this, you're behind 31-10. They put a new quarterback in. But once again, let's take a look at this run. Kirby Jackson with just a fine broken field running here. Runs through a lot of people. The Bills are very good blocking on this play, and he gets in for the score. But in a huddle, when you send in a new quarterback, the new quarterback comes in, he's all fired up, ready to go, and the other guys are going like, well, wait a minute, man. I mean, you know, it's a tough spot to put a quarterback in now.
Marino under the gun, tries to trigger a pass ball to Mark Clayton, but it skips in on the 1-yard. Scott Sequel's actually throwing it, the replacement of Marino. Skips it in on the 1 hop. So his first throw is an errant one. He's only thrown 4 passes now this season, and he's completed 1 in previous play. The sack doctor got a hold of him, Leon Seals, just after he released the ball. Marino suffering 3 interceptions today. Threw for 1 touchdown. Was sacked twice. Sequel's on the run. Dumps it short again, trying to go for Jim Jensen.
And Sequels gets a chance to meet Bruce Smith. and Cornelius Bennett. They're saying hello and welcome to the NFL. Ezekiel's just in a tough spot trying to make something happen. And Marino would steal those competitive juices flowing over there on that sideline. When he came in, he said, this is a big game, boy, we've got to play. He was so fired up before the game, and I'm sure he's just so disappointed right now.
He'll be back. Now the Dolphins will get a look to see what Sequels can do. Played under George Welsh at Virginia. Very strong arm. And he makes a connection as he gets the ball out across the 20-yard line. Mark Clayton made the catch. Game clock down to 2:30 to play, and it stopped on the incomplete pass. Fourth down comes up now for Miami.
Sequel's just lucky to get this ball off, because the moment he lets it go, watch number 55, Cornelius Bennett.
Treated him rather well. He could have given him the helmet.
He could have popped him a little harder than that, but Cornelius being a fine young man.
Yes, he is. He's going to be around a long time, Cornelius Bennett. Never comes off the field. He's in on rush downs, pass downs.
And he wants to play tight end.
Yes, he does. Bills are loaded with blue chip players. 7 Bills were in the Pro Bowl last January.
That Pro Bowl really does magic for the confidence of your football team. When you make the Pro Bowl, you realize that everybody else in the league realizes that you're a good player. It's something you've been telling yourself all along. All of a sudden, it's reinforced by you getting voted into the Pro Bowl. And then you got to play up to it every week.
Well, you've been there a number of times. Next Sunday, NBC Sports has an exciting NFL doubleheader beginning at 12:30 with NFL Live. Then some of you will see the Colts go to Miami. Others will see the Bills meet the Falcons in Atlanta. And the doubleheader games, the Steelers and the Broncos at Denver. Cincinnati goes against the LA Raiders. 2:12 to play. Fourth down play. Sequel stands in, throws it, makes the connection to Duper, and the Dolphins get a first down and stop the clock with 2:06 to play. Sutton and Jackson were on the tackle. Elijah Pitts, running back coach for the Bills. Former outstanding Packer on the sideline with his 2 standout runners today. First, we're going to look at Sequels fire the ball on an out pattern. Duper makes the first down catch and gets out of bounds. Sequels is big, 6'3", 220 pounds, in his second year from Virginia. Downfield throw, and Clayton catches one that came in quacking. Almost end over end, but got where it had to be. 1:58 to play. The 2-minute warning is given, with the Bills leading the Dolphins 31-10.
2 minutes.
Bills in command late in the game here at sold-out Rich Stadium. Don Criqui with Ahmad Rashad. Picking a most valuable player today is a difficult job. Ahmad, who is it?
Yeah, I noticed that you want nothing to do with this. Could it be Bruce Smith or Thurman Thomas?
It's got to almost be both, I think.
Can we tie? Can there be a tie? Let me ask the producer. Is there a tie? There's a tie. Both of them most valuable players today.
All right, so we have co-MVPs today. One representing a standout defense, All-Pro Bruce Smith, and the young running back Thurman Thomas, who had his most productive day. Time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. Today's MVPs are Bruce Smith and Thurman Thomas from the Buffalo Bills. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games.
Announced today.
Yeah, well, you can't. They were so strong on both sides. I'll tell you, Elijah Pitts congratulating Frank Reich on the sideline. Everybody is. He played a very sound game, didn't throw it often, but he did not make the big mistake again and hit the big play. And now Sequels rolls out, lets a long ball go. That's offensive interference. That's a touchdown. The ball was caught by Andre Brown, the rookie from Miami of Florida, but he crashed into Mark Kelso, but apparently it was ruled they were making a play for the ball. Obviously he was if he caught it.
He was making a play for the ball, but I thought he ran out of bounds on part of this pattern. Watch his feet. No, he stays in bounds. This is a great play on the ball. Great play on the ball. That's what you want to do. You want to go to the ball aggressively.
He hit Kelso right in that big hat of his.
That's right. The height didn't help him on that play.
This guy's the player. I'll tell you, the Dolphins got some here in a free agency.
I can't believe Miami keeps putting out those kinds of wide receivers year after year.
Stoyanovich hits the point after, and with 1:50 to go, the Dolphins score, but in all probability too little too late, as they're down now 31-17. Penalty markers down on the point after, but it's against the Bills. Put it on the board.
Boy, I tell you, this bit.
Illegal substitution. 12 men on the field, defense. The extra point is good. We'll penalize on the kickoff.
Thank you, referee Johnny Greer. The penalty will come on the kickoff as Andre Brown gets in the end zone. He looks like a player.
He certainly does. This is just a great throw and a catch. CQ is rolling out, giving the receiver time to get deep. And then Andre Brown, showing his leaping ability here, just goes to the ball.
This looked like
Great
you and
play.
that Viking miracle game.
I did that once in a dream. Andre Brown. Great catch. Maybe
Got range, 6'4" almost.
And runs well. And the thing is that you can't really judge is his ability to go to the ball once it's in the air.
Cleveland Browns, who are down 10-0, have rallied to beat the Houston Oilers 28-17. The Bears leading the Rams. Now New England has come back to lead the Colts 20-17. That one's gone back and forth.
One of the strangest teams in the, I can't figure them out. Just when I think they're not going to do anything, they come back and do everything.
How about Cincinnati? They were down in this game. They scored 56 points.
They did everything.
Yeah. Be an interesting second half. Dolphins aligned for an onside kick. Stoyanovich bounces it downfield. The hands team is out there. Nicely done by Metzlars, number 88, who was a first-team Division II All-American basketball player. He's 6'7", at Wabash College in Indiana. He goes up high and comes down with the rebound.
And last week I was talking about his son. They call him Repeat. Pete and Repeat. Pete being 6'7". His son is only 6 years old. I thought he was 12. His son's 6 years old and about 5'11".
That's the guy, Metzlars, who plans eventually to move to offensive tackle when he loses a little off his fastball and has to move inside. He's a very good blocker.
He's got excellent hands also, too. He just doesn't have the speed, that long-range speed, but he can certainly catch those little ball control passes.
Caught 49 one year. Was their leading receiver. Handoff goes to Thurman Thomas, who is just turning out those yards big time. Dave Aarons makes the tackle for Miami.
A gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
1:42 to play, and there's a timeout on the field with the score: the Bills 31 and the Dolphins 17. Dan Marino. Not a good day for Marino and the Dolphins as their 3-game win streak comes to an end. And they'll make the turn to the second half of the season at 4-4, trailing the Bills 31-17 with 1:42 to play. Buffalo with Reich at quarterback, set to go to the run to try to run out the clock. Thomas. Everybody's a coach in the stands, but I think I might have Thurman sitting down, getting rested for next week.
5-yard gain.
You'd look good in a coaching hat.
Another timeout called by the Dolphins with 1:31 to play. Bills fans are chanting, "We want Reed." Andre Reed has a consecutive games receiving streak. I think it's up to 47 now. But he's on the sideline, and Sportsman, he waved to the fans. He said, "Hey, nothing we can do about it at this point."
Throw him a hitch.
I know if somebody makes Levy aware of it, he'll put him in.
Do you mean you don't think he heard those 80,000 people saying, we want Reed?
He's got that headset on.
I can hear it through my headset. I think they can hear it in Syracuse.
Thurman Thomas runs. Now 4th down comes up. 1:26 to play. John Offerdahl playing much better now as he works back into the lineup. And the Dolphins call a timeout with 1:26 to play. They're out of timeouts and almost out of luck in this game. Tonight on NBC, the Call of the Wild is for help when the magical world of Disney presents Ernest Goes to Camp, followed by the no-nonsense comedy of Sister Kate. And a lady grappler puts the move on one of my two dads. Then 227's Jackie will double your pleasure. An NBC world premiere movie that's tonight only on NBC. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. The producer of today's game, Terry Ewert. Director, Ted Nathanson. Associate Director, Ray Benassi. As we're coming down the stretch here at Rich Stadium, where the Bills have put in a record crowd of almost 80,500. Sold out 16 consecutive games. Leading the NFL in attendance and leading the AFC East by perhaps 2 games, depending on the outcome of the New England-Indianapolis game. That the Patriots are leading late in the 4th quarter. Punt downfield, and Schwades lets it roll. And the Bills will down it at the 5-yard line, or let it go out of bounds down at the 4.
Everything goes right for these Bills the last couple of weeks, at least.
Now look at this. The Colts have tied it up. Looks like they could be heading to OT. Colts and Patriots tied 20-all with time almost out at Indianapolis. Steelers have rallied and come back, and now they lead Kansas City. Dallas is close, but still behind in the 4th quarter. New Orleans wins again, beating the Bills' next opponent, the Falcons. Saints, after a 1-4 start, have now won 3 straight.
And we saw them get back on track a few weeks ago.
Then they blew out the Rams last week on the road. Scott Sekiel at quarterback, standing the yard deep in his end zone. He'll run the ball straight ahead, and Sekiel takes it out to the 20-yard line.
Sekiel's with them young, fresh legs.
They want to see him do as much as he can as we go into the final minute of the game. Bills are in the lead, 31-17. Sekiels is almost picked off again by Kirby Jackson. Then he lost it, and it looked like Andre Brown caught another one. Previous reception for Andre, you remember, was the one he took away from Kelso in the end zone for a touchdown.
He had his eye right on that one. Once Jackson knocked it up in the air, Brown stayed with it and made the reception.
Downfield throw, and it's too long for everybody. Nearest to it was Nate Odom to the Bills. 28 seconds to play. 3rd down and 4 arises for Miami. They've got no 15-point plays in their weaponry.
No, Jeff Wright, and he's a guy that broke that streak by Marino of not being sacked in 19 games, and now he gives the same sort of a welcome to Jeff Sekiels.
Sekiels setting up in the shotgun now at the 21-yard line. 3rd down and 4 for Miami. Dolphins trying to make one more strike, down by 14 points. Here's a throw. And once again, Andre Brown is open off the flank.
And a nice throw by Scott Sekiels. He fired it right on the money.
Brown's a heck of a target.
Oh, big rangy guy like that. That's all you can ask for. You can throw the ball. You got a lot of area to throw it when you got a guy that has that kind of range.
Sekiels throws it up. And that was very nearly an interception, as the nearest man to it was the strong safety Leonard Smith. And the game clock is down to 2 seconds to play. And the Bills are about to up their record to 6-2 going into the second half of the season. One of the co-MVPs, Bruce Smith, walks the sidelines. And most importantly for the Bills, they found a quarterback they can win with when their star, Jim Kelly, was out.
And it's mainly because of this defense led by Bruce Smith that they turned it up a couple of notches.
Yes, they did.
They realized that we had a problem, that Kelly wasn't going to be able to play. And what they want to do is get behind Reich. Bruce Smith told us, hey, they needed to turn it around right away.
Marv Levy pointed that out strongly yesterday, that our defense has put our offense in position to win. Andre Brown almost had one, and that's going to do it. Final numbers are up as the gun sounds. The Buffalo Bills defeat the Miami Dolphins 31-17 as Coach Levy goes across to shake the hand of a man he greatly admires, Don Shula. The Dolphins will go back to Miami to play the Colts next week. Miami now 4-14.
The Dolphins made a run at it. They had a chance to get in here and play for first place, and they actually didn't do much. And once again, we see Bruce Smith and Marino talking a little bit. Frank Reich, who made no mistakes, had a perfect game today. Buffalo leading the division 6-2. Miami falls to 4-4. They had their chance. Just weren't able to pull it off. And Buffalo, boy, they really turned it on.
Bills will be awaiting the outcome of that Indianapolis-New England game. Those two teams tied late in the fourth quarter at 20-all. Here is the play of this day, the spectacular run of Thurman Thomas. As he weaves through everybody, the entire Miami defense had a shot at him at one time or another. Takes it in for 30 yards as he finished the day in a touchdown. Finished the day with 147 yards rushing on 25 carries. Now for Ahmad Rashad, this is Don Crickey. Glad you could be with us at Rich Stadium where the Bills defeated the Dolphins 31-17. Stay tuned for the Budweiser NFL report after these messages coming up from your local.
Next on NFL Primetime, would Mike Ditka's Bears lose their fourth straight? Or would it be the Rams and Jim Everett losing their third in a row? The Oilers and Warren Moon had been on a roll, but today they saw Webster Slaughter and the Cleveland Browns coming right at them. In Denver, it's Randall against John Elway. At the Meadowlands, could Steve Young crank it up in place of Joe Montana? Rodney and Willie Pete, father and son, do battle in Milwaukee. Let's celebrate NFL Primetime next. Again, everybody, welcome to NFL Primetime. I'm Chris Berman. Week 8. We are at the halfway mark. And to help us explain how we got that far, I call in the three Musketeers, Tom Jackson, Pete Axthelm, and John Saunders. Let's get you updated, though, first on the late games. Aren't many of them around the NFL. With 2 minutes to go now at Mile High Stadium, very intriguing game between the Eagles and Broncos, and the Eagles lead that 28-24, a couple of touchdowns for Keith Byers in that contest. Surprise at the LA Coliseum, it's the Raiders all over the Redskins. 37-17. Steve Berline has started and looked very good. Bo Jackson has looked strong, and the Redskins are turning the ball over with great rapidity. No-dos on sale at the Kingdome as the Seahawks lead the Chargers 10-7 in the fourth quarter. Game has been a snoozer, and a final at the Meadowlands. The 49ers beat the Jets 23-10. Big game between a couple of teams who began the first 4 weeks of the season undefeated. The Rams and Bears once each were 4-0, but the Rams came into Soldier Field today, losers of their last two, and the Bears had lost the unthinkable 3 in a row, the only time it's ever happened under Mike Ditka. So the Bears trying to regroup. How do they get off the schneid? The Rams had their sights set on breaking their losing streak too, and they had their sights set on Mike Tomczak, leveled by Mike Wilcher. Then Kevin Green and Wilcher nailed Tomczak. Ditka not happy with his offensive line or Kozlowski's play, but Jim Everett also looked like a tentative quarterback today. Everett looks for Henry Ellard, Dewerson deflects, Marcus Paul with the INT. No one's touched him, he gets up, and will go 20 yards. First half, all defense, tentative offense. Mike Tomczak had big-time problems. He and his receivers out of sync. Scoreless first quarter. Then, late in the first half, after Tomczak at one point had thrown 10 straight incompletions, they make the move to Jim Harbaugh. And Harbaugh leveled by Alvin Wright. Kevin Green picks it up, and Green rumbles, 47 yards. The Rams thought they had a touchdown, but offsides. Defense. John Robinson making the same offside call. 3-3 at the half. Harbaugh gave Ditka a different choice, though, Tommy, today.
Well, he adds a dimension with his running ability, a little bit better than Tomczak here. He comes out of the pocket early in the game, both running and passing, kept the Rams off balance a little bit. The other thing is he's willing to stand in and take a lick. Here he throws a perfect spiral over to Neil Anderson for a 14-yard gain.
The Joe Cap volley floater. Bear defense, though, still started to dig in. Look at Richard Dent flying over the blocker, nailing Greg Bell, who again could not move the ball on the ground. Steve McMichael sacks Everett. Turnover time. Bell on the rush. The fridge is beaten, but reaches out with a paw, slaps the ball loose. Fumble! Richard Dent, 95, playing an inspired game, fell off the ball. Still in the third quarter. Harbaugh for Cap Bosa. Picks up, well, what is this flag? At half-mast? It eventually came on Anthony Newman. Robinson can't believe it, but the flag helped set up Brad Muster. Tough one-yard burst. Fought off 3 tackles. The Bears finally in the end zone. It's 10-3 Chicago. Harbaugh to Muster, playing perhaps his most important game as a Bear. Later on the drive, Harbaugh to Wendell Davis, one of the guys they got as draft picks as a result of the Wilbur Marshall giveaway, if you will, to Washington. Harbaugh, 1-yard sneak in the fourth quarter at 17-3 Chicago. Everett trying to bring the Rams back. But how tough was it for the Rams to get in the end zone? Pete Holohan can't overrun Dave Duerson. Eventually they do get a score from Greg Bell to make it 17-10. But Jim Everett looked tentative all day, and he struggled. The day began, at least, to Jim Harbaugh. He wasn't tremendous, but he hit some long gainers like this one to Dennis McKinnon of 41 yards. Helped set up a field goal by Kevin Butler. There, Harbaugh's number. Certainly didn't lose the game. How happy was Mike Ditka afterwards to break the losing streak? I guess so. 3-game losing streak by the boys. Bears over the Rams at Soldier Field, 20-10. And afterwards, Mike Singletary said, it may not give us a sign for what's exactly going to happen the rest of the year, but it gives us an alternative.
You gotta make up your mind about something. And for us, it's just at that point where, fellas, what are we going to do? I mean, we're going to make up our mind. We're going to go out there and do the things that we have to do, or we're just going to try and just let people tell us how good we are or how bad we are. What are we going to do?
It's hard to imagine the Chicago Bears falling to 4-4, but then again, the Los Angeles Rams have to imagine that they now have lost 3 in a row. An impressive job by the Bears in the trenches, Axe.
Yes, I think there was so much smoke raised about the quarterback and who was going to
down. With 1:27 to go, the pass intended for Vance Johnson just behind him.
The heart of the Bears is that Bear spirit still lives, and that's what showed today. I know one person who probably doesn't want to have dinner tonight with Mike Singletary is Greg Bell. He punished him pretty good.
Well, Pete, the other thing, when you mention offensive line, defensive line, the last few weeks, Mike Ditka has talked a lot about getting leadership from guys that he should be getting it from. Today, real burst in the form of Richard Dent, who disrupted everything, both run and pass.
And I think today, although Neil Anderson raced for about 80 yards, it was the running of Muster, who was 30-plus yards, really his most important role today as a Chicago Bear. It was he that got the tough yards to help them get into the end zone, and so the Bears now getting some contributions from some of the younger players. The Rams are not getting much contribution on offense. Greg Bell at only 32 yards. You compare the Rams in the first 5 weeks when they didn't lose, and the last 3 weeks on offense when all they've done is lose, you can see a big reason why. We'll be back.
NFL Primetime is...
Team coordinator stands in front of Buddy Ryan.
By the U.S. Navy. You are tomorrow. You are the Navy.
Once again, the area that you attack.
And by the Hartford, the insurance people of ITT. When you need us most, we're at our best.
So drawback possible.
Welcome back to Primetime. Pretty hot game in pretty chilly Denver this afternoon. The Broncos have gotten into Eagles territory. Under a minute.
In the end zone, Sewell. Incomplete.
46 yards called back, but the Raiders still handily in front of the Redskins, 37-17 in the fourth. And a final now from the Kingdome. The Seahawks win for the first time in 4 tries at home. They beat San Diego 10-7, 10th out of the last 11 games. They've beaten the San Diego Chargers. Falcons and Saints. Atlanta, it seems every week they're on the road. This is their 5th road game of the year, and going into this ball game, they had yet to win.
There's the effort by the safety. I can't see the number there, Vern. That's Waters, 20. Andre Waters. Heck of a play.
In the hunt. Dalton Hilliard, the story in the first quarter. Hebert to Dalton Hilliard. Hilliard would run for 17 yards. On the next play, Hebert said, you know, I like this guy, number 21. He throws to Hilliard for 9 yards. 2 plays later, they give us to Hilliard. Ironhead with a block of sorts, 15-yard run for Hilliard. Then, we try Dalton to the right side. He busts off for 7 yards. Then, Hebert scrambles. Guess who he's going to look for? Hilliard. Yeah, good idea, Tom. Hilliard, untouched, into the end zone, 21 yards, accounted for all 69 yards of the Saints' opening drive. They lead at 7-0. Falcons offense, non-existent. Pat Swilling had 3 sacks of Chris Miller in the first half. This time the fumble recovered from Frank Warren. Have we seen this before? This is later in the first half.
It's very much like an instant replay here. Swilling back to throw, Miller back to throw. Swilling makes the hit, and Warren gets the recovery.
The Saints lead at 10-0 at halftime. Jim Fink on the sidelines looking on. Second half, though, Chris Miller hung in there and started to turn things around. It's a dart to John Settle for 10. Then looks for his rookie receiver from Northern Arizona, Sean Collins. 18-yard touchdown. The Saints, who held Atlanta to 4 yards total offense in the first half, now only led it 13-7. And then prime time. Deion Sanders on the kickoff return. Let's get it go. Finally goes out of bounds. But trailing by only 6, 13-7. It got Atlanta into range. And while Atlanta was in range, the Saints offense starting to sputter. Hebert loses the football. Atlanta has 1, 2, 3, 4. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. They had 5 shots to pick up the football, but they couldn't do it. Stan Brock saves the day. But Atlanta does tie it at 13-all. And then Hebert says, my goodness, we've outplayed Atlanta, but we might lose the game. He hits Eric Martin after Charles Dimry gambles. Martin picks up 50 yards. And guess who's the hero of the day? Sure, number 21, Dalton Hilliard with a late touchdown. 93 yards rushing, 97 yards receiving. He had a marvelous day. A pair of touchdowns. Marion Campbell says, you know, we played the Saints tough, but we can't beat them because New Orleans beats Atlanta by the count of 20-13, and home never looks so good for Atlanta next week. Phoenix at Dallas. And the Cardinals get Freddie Joe Nunn back after being suspended for substance abuse for 30 days. He was abusing Paul Palmer. Here he gets him once, and watch him beat Nate Newton.
Freddie Joe Nunn amazingly quick off the ball, blows by Newton before he even sees him to drop Paul Palmer.
And then Nunn into the backfield, nailing Palmer. Palmer said, boy, I thought I was happy to get a new start at Dallas, but at least not on this day, because Palmer tries to avoid Nunn, and Michael Zornick runs him out of bounds. The woes continue. Steve Walsh, the perfect bullet to Palmer, no. Dallas tries it again, but guess who's there? Michael Zornick right there. Palmer picked up 33 yards rushing on the day and an Excedrin headache, number 42. But it wasn't only Palmer that Walsh was having trouble hooking up with. Here's Kelvin Martin. No, can't hold on. Now with Phoenix leading at 6-3 in the third quarter, Walsh is dropping back. Cedric Mack tips it, and Michael Zornick picks it up. Just Saturday night, he and his wife, baby boy, Mike Zornick Jr. On Sunday, he returns an interception for a touchdown. Congratulations, it's 13-3 Cards. Walsh to Derek Shepard draws Dallas within 16-10. Steve Walsh throwing for 264 yards on the day, and Jerry Jones, as he's done all year, on the sidelines inspiring the squad. Late in the game, Phoenix punting. Derek Shepard was cut from New Orleans early this year because of a case of the dropsies. No, not again. Yes, it is. Phoenix recovers the fumble. Jimmy Johnson and Shepard see a game slip away as the Cards win it by a count of 19-10. In 5 years as coach of Miami, Florida, Jimmy Johnson 52 up, 9 down. 8 games as coach of the Dallas Cowboys, none up, 8 down. What a change it has been. We've got more highlights from Week 8 coming up here on Primetime. But first, we told you the Saints are back at 500, and their defense has led the way. Their 3-game winning streak, you see in the total on the right, has been keyed by the D. Stay with us. Holy defense back here. And welcome back to NFL Primetime. John Saunders joins us now. And John, week 1 of the season, Miami almost upset the Bills. Kelly running in on the very last play of the game. This time Buffalo had them in their place. And their defense was zeroing in on Marino, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, and a long time before any defense had done that. But think about it. Had the Buffalo Bills lost that first game of the season to Miami, the Dolphins would be tied for first place. The Bills today were looking for the series sweep for the 3rd straight year and their 5th straight win. Jim Kelly still not strong enough to play, but Bruce Smith and the Buffalo defense was ready. Smith just waits for Sammy Smith and drills him to the turf. Smith, a dominant force as usual. The Bills pressured Dan Marino constantly, and Marino isn't used to that. Under the heat, he fires. It's picked off by Cornelius Bennett. The Bills in business with good field position. And Thurman Thomas out of Oklahoma State, the right side, takes it to the sideline. And then watch the cutback. Goes 30 yards, takes it in for the touchdown. And not too many people do it better than that, Tom.
Thurman Thomas is probably as good a back as you'll see in this league. He has excellent moves, a burst that gets him through the line of scrimmage, and once he gets to the sideline, what you like as a coach is cut back and really turn it on right there, shifts it in the 4th gear.
Yeah, that's picking up speed in a hurry. The Bills are really hungry for the sack of Marino. 19 games since he's been sacked, but Jeff Wright gets in there, gets him at the 1. First time in 759 passing attempts that Dan Marino was beat, and he was beaten badly on this one.
Well, Jeff Ulenek gets the center, turn, gets his shoulders by. Marino just can't avoid him.
Marino goes down twice in the game, but Frank Wright didn't throw the ball too often. But when Wright did throw the ball, he made it count. Finds Don Beebe, 63 yards for the touchdown. Only 9 tosses on the day for Wright, but he had Buffalo on top 21-3 as he hit 6 of them. Marino gets Miami going in the 3rd quarter. Mark Clayton, who makes nice moves there between 2 defenders, takes off with everyone chasing him, picks up a block into the end zone for the touchdown. It's now a 21-10 game. But that man, Thurman Thomas, was at it again.
You can't say too much about Thurman. Once he catches
The story of
always got the great vision, makes a nice little hurdle there, always refusing to run out of bounds, gets every yard that he can get.
Career high 148 yards, and Don Shula would have a big decision. 4th and inches at the Bills' 47. Give it to Sammy Smith. Smith is just stopped cold by Bruce Smith, and the Bills were fired up.
This is one of my favorite linebackers in the league. This is Cornelius. Started outside, came inside, and there he is getting another piece of Marino. And there's Bruce Smith getting a piece of Marino.
Dan Marino not used to that, and when you're pressured, this will happen. The pass is tipped. It's picked off by Kirby Jackson, his 2nd of the game. Some shifty moves. He goes 40 yards. And takes it down the sidelines into the end zone for the touchdown. 31-10, the Bills on top. Dan Marino, if you read lips, you know Dan Marino's not a happy guy as the Bills win it. Dan Marino's 19 straight without being sacked. That was an NFL record. The Bills are now 6-2. They had 280 yards rushing. In Indianapolis, that's Tony Eason of the Patriots not playing, but on the other side of the field, Tom Ramsey used to play for them. He set up the signals, so Eason had to hide behind the coaches. Meanwhile, Jack Trudeau to Bill Brooks. And then he's almost out of bounds, laterals it to Andre Rison. 71 yards when it was all said and done. But Trudeau would fumble a couple of plays later, and they would not come away with a touchdown. New England is up 3-0. Trudeau goes to Rison again. 22 yards. His first touchdown in the National Football League. Now, give the guy credit. You got to celebrate something like this.
Unsportsmanlike conduct demonstration number 85 and 80 will penalize on the kickoff.
Come on, the guy's first NFL touchdown. Give him a break. Rison pays for it. Johnny Rembert says, you're going to hot dog a little bit? I'm going to knock you to the turf, and the ball goes flying. Tony Eason sending in some more plays behind his coaches. They don't want the Colts to pick this up, and Steve Grogan, he catches the play. First, he hits Sammy Martin, puts him over 25,000 career passing yards. Then, Cedric Jones hauls it in to tie the game at 10. Eric Dickerson says, call the doctor. I got to get out of the game. The hamstring is still hurting. The Colts are down 13-10, and Ivy Joe Hunter takes control.
And Ivy Joe Hunter obviously taking some lessons from ED because he's learned how to make that nice slice through the line of scrimmage. Does it a couple of times right there.
3 consecutive carries, picks up 20 yards. Steve Grogan with 3 minutes left to Hartley Dykes for 8 yards. Then Cedric Jones, 13 more yards into Indianapolis territory. Then Eric Sievers, who had 5 receptions for 91 yards. Mosi Tutupu down to the 3-yard line. And then John Stevens on the handoff. Bowls it in, and the Patriots take a 20-17 lead. Indy ties it on a field goal, but into overtime. Eason still sending in the signals. Looks over at Tom Ramsey. Did you get that?
Well, if he did, he didn't tell his teammates because Grogan connects 27 yards to Sammy Martin, who stays in bounds, which gives Greg Davis on his 24th birthday a chance to win it. He had missed a 46-yarder in regulation. This is from 51 yards. And happy birthday to Greg Davis because he knocks it through and the Patriots win. 28 completions in the 46 attempts. Those are career highs for Steve Grogan. 355 yards as well. Ray Berry's 9th win against just 2 losses against the team that he starved for in Baltimore. And the Patriots come away with a big win on the road.
Yeah, it saves their season. And what the Colts loss and the Bills win mean combined is that Buffalo owns a 2-game lead now in the AFC East. Bills doing it on offense. Now, last year, everybody got on them for the conservative play calling. They were a little more conservative today with Frank Reich at quarterback. But if you compare their offense last year to their offense this year, yards and points. No wonder they're 6-2 and rolling. We'll be back. You knew going into the season the AFC Central was the conference's best division, but neither the Bengals, the Browns, or the Oilers. I know who's in the Central. I just got confused. None of those teams had really asserted themselves this year. Last year, remember those back-to-back games between the Oilers and Browns at Cleveland, Week 16 in the wild card game? Both teams looked good then. Which team would assert themselves today? The 3 teams going into the day at 4-3. And yeah, everybody was in the dog pound today. First quarter, 3rd and 13. Warren Moon, not flustered, hits Haywood Jeffries for a touchdown. It's a 7-0 Oiler lead, and Jeffries working against the main dog.
Working against one of the best corners in this league, Hanford Dixon, and this is planned. They work on it all the time, throwing behind the receiver. Defender doesn't have a chance to focus in. Touchdown.
Houston looking controlled on the road, but again, they won that playoff game in here. Deep from his own end zone, Warren Moon to Drew Hill. Also beats Hanford Dixon. It's a 50-yard play, and the Oilers in the first half look to have things going their way. Offensively, Cleveland had a rough start. Bernie looked good on Monday night. But looking for Ozzie Newsome, the only pass he threw towards Ozzie all day, Bubba McDowell picks it off. There's a flag on the return. Oilers get the INT, but not the touchdown. They'd settle for a field goal that loomed big later. On 1st and 10, Kosar looking for Foghorn Langhorn. Picked off by Steve Brown. And at this point, offensive coordinator Mark Trestman and Bernie Kosar are in trouble. 57 total yards offense, 2 INTs in the first half, 10-0 Houston. But in the third quarter, Bud Carson obviously gave a great speech. Kosar takes matters into his own hands. Bernie, how often have you seen it? Answer, not many times. He runs into the end zone. Touchdown, 10-7. Houston lead cut to 3. And then the veteran defenders, Tom.
Carl Harrison, Bubba Baker, Clay Matthews, all over 30 years of age, getting great penetration today. Then on 2nd and 13, Baker again into the backfield, knocks this pass down, almost intercepted. Then,
after the old defenders come through, watch the play. The flea flicker, Metcalf back to Bernie. To Webster, Slaughter, look at him go, he's wide open, 80 yards. The Browns, turning new pages in their playbook, lead at 14-10. On the next series, though, the Oilers have the answer. Warren Moon going to Curtis Duncan. Beats Felix the Cat Wright and Frank Minifield. Down to the 1. Rozier later scores 17-14 Houston. What a game this looked like it would be. Next series, Slaughter against Patrick Allen.
And Patrick Allen makes a fatal mistake, cuts across the field trying to intercept the ball instead of going downfield with the receiver. Webster Slaughter off to the races.
77 yards this time. On 2 plays, 157 yards and 2 touchdowns then. Metcalf, Langhorn, Kosar. Metcalf sneaks out of the backfield, makes the leaping catch on the razzle-dazzle for 25 yards. And then, have we used all the plays that we have yet? No, I think there's one more. Bernie tells the ref, didn't tell the Oilers. Kosar pitches to Metcalf like his father did. He throws it. Touchdown to Langhorn, 32 yards. Cleveland leads at 28-17. And with the lead, the Browns were teeing off on defense. Warren Moon, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Thane Gash nails him. As Glanville looked on, this, though, was a guy looking on with some melancholy thoughts. No catches for Ozzie Newsome, the second longest streak in pro football history, 150 games straight with a catch. Goes by the board, but Cleveland wins at 28-17. Meanwhile, the Bengals had lost 2 in a row in the jungle. Into town came Tampa Bay. things went in twos. 2 straight losses. Lars Tate with a big run for Tampa Bay of 46 yards, setting up a TD and a 7-0 lead. Bengals, though, come back with a big run of their own. James Brooks. And look at him make the move right there. 42-yard run of his own, which helped set up a 4th and goal, which Eric Ball shakes off a Mark Robinson. It goes into the end zone since he leads at 14-7.
Eric Ball hasn't quite gotten that Ickey Woods cutback down, but I think he's got that power move running over guys and getting into the end zone down.
He's got the high step, too. On 4th and 1, the Bucs can't convert. Reggie Williams with the big hit on Lars Tate. But the Bucs find another way to score because on their next possession, Boomer can't handle the snap. The safety makes it 14-9. Vinny to Mark Carrier for a reception, and we told you things happen in 2. Vinny to Carrier again. 17 yards, beats Eric Thomas. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. They lead at 16-14.
Great job not only of catching the ball, but right here at the end, you see him glance down and make sure I've got the feet in bounds.
Eddie Brown wants to be part of the twos formula. Boomer's pass. Oh, Eddie. Could have been a touchdown. But he comes back. Catches the 9-yard zip for a TD. 21-16 Cincinnati at the half. Jasna was the 1-2 formula on plays. It was the same way later on. The Bucs fumble. Tim Krumrie picks it up. And on the Bengals' ensuing possession, James Brooks. 4-yard touchdown. Look at the move. Don't even hit me in the end zone. Don't even think about it. 28-16 Bengals. 3rd quarter. Brooks with 131 yards, first back in 21 games to get 100 yards against the Buccaneers. Reverse. Brooks hands it to Tim McGee. And watch Boomer. I really don't want to block anybody, but I'm out there anyway. And a big pickup for McGee. And a few plays later, Boomer to McGee, 14 yards, touchdown, 35-16 Cincinnati. Boomer less than 200 yards, but his 5 touchdown passes ties his own team record. And then another lefty, Eric Belhaz, steps in to hit Tim McGee for 46 yards. The Bengals scoring touchdowns on 7 straight possessions. Rolling the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 56-23, and this is a Bengal team that hadn't reached the end zone for 7 quarters. They score on 7 straight possessions. And Axe, I know you were very intrigued by the way the Bengals were punching it across.
Well, I was particularly intrigued with the fact they were still throwing touchdown passes ahead 49-16. I think there's 3 possible reasons. One is because the points might be involved in a tiebreaker. Another is because they certainly want to get work for that crucial man in their roster, Eric Wilhelm. And the third is they were simply running it up. Well, 2 out of 3 isn't bad. I won't go for the tiebreaker part. Looking at the list of tiebreaker things, points in non-conference games are only slightly more important as hours of dignified community service.
Well, one service that the Bengals did do was the 3rd highest score in the 80s. The Bengals' 56 points today puts them on a pretty good list in the 80s. Community service, I don't know the way they think about it in Tampa Bay, but this is the way it stacks up. We'll be back with the late highlights. Stay with us.
The preparation is complete. Now it's time for Game Day. College Game Day previews all the gridiron excitement Saturday morning on ESPN.
Welcome back to Primetime. 2 teams with very good records. The Philadelphia Eagles and Denver Broncos hooked up for a very good football game at Mile High Stadium this afternoon. They thought it might snow. It did not do that. But, you know, you think you have things figured out, and everything you figured through the first 7 weeks goes by the boards. What are we talking about? Well, you know, Denver has a very good rushing defense, the best in football, and you know the Philly can't run the football. So Randall Cunningham runs it for 24 yards on the first drive of the game. And you figure that's an aberration, but when Randall handed the ball off on regular plays, like this one to Anthony Toney, he finds a big hole in the left side. It's first down at Denver's 21. Eagles on this drive would not throw the ball. They go 96 yards. It will be 96 tiers for the Broncos. Byers, a 16-yard run, 7-0 Philly. Broncos couldn't get started early. Elway picked off by Izell Jenkins. He will get up and lumber it into Bronco territory. Eagles in business again. Philly says, my goodness, we can move the ball on the ground? Well, let's keep it there. And the Eagles run the draw play to Heath Sherman. down to the Denver 10. And the running sets up the pass from Cunningham to Chris Carter. Touchdown, 14-0 Philadelphia early. Boom, in Mile High. After Ken Bell muffed a punt for Denver, Cunningham tries to capitalize. Stopped shy of the end zone. Philly is called for holding. Randall is also hurt. So, they bring in Matt Cavanaugh. First play, Cavanaugh turns a drive into a disaster. As the veteran Rick Dennison picks it off, Buddy not pleased. Elway finally gets the offense moving after the big play by Dennison. Elway drops back, hits Orson Moms Mobley for a first down. Then Elway does the rest with his feet.
Well, I thought he did a great job here of spotting where Reggie White was and running away from him. Smart move.
Where he wasn't. 14-7 now at the half. And they did a pretty good job on Reggie White. As the Eagles, they tried to do a good job on Reggie White, but they couldn't quite contain him there. Cunningham to the veteran Jimmy Giles. And Denver couldn't tackle, and guess what he could do, Tom?
He could go all the way.
He does go all the way. 66 yards, 21-7, Philadelphia. Elway now trying to rally the Broncos. Throws to Vance Johnson. And look at this play in the end zone. Beautiful extension. The touchdown, 21-14. Game just heating up. Denver pulls it within 4 with a field goal, 21-17. Then Elway goes to Johnson. Got it. Sets up a Melvin Bratton touchdown up for the first time all afternoon. Denver leads at 24-21. Big play, though. John Telchik punts. The ball hits Darren Carrington. William Frizzell recovers for Philly. Cannot advance a muff, but you do get the ball. And it sets up a 1-yard plunge by Byers. 28-24, Philadelphia back in front. Broncos' last gasp. Elway has moved the ball into Philadelphia territory. Under a minute to go. He throws at the end zone for Steve Sewell. Had it in his hands and dropped it. One last try for Denver. Elway runs for a first down, but fumble. Philly recovers, and the Eagles with a major, major win at Mile High Stadium, where the Broncos had not yet lost until today. Philadelphia beats them by the count of 28-24. Who's best at home? Who's best on the road? I think the road, you might have a good guess. At home, though, Denver falls from the ranks of the unbeaten. It's Minnesota and the Giants, who oddly enough face off Monday night at the Meadowlands with the best home records. And on the road, oh, those Niners. Oh, in the loss column in 6 tries. We'll be back. Are they the best team ever? Terry Bradshaw thinks so, but so do the 72 Dolphins of Greasy and Coach Don Shula. Everybody's on hand for the Dream Bowl. The blimps are over the stadium, and who's going to throw out who's going to toss the coin? We're ready to rock and roll. The Dolphins and the Steelers on Dream Bowl at 8:15 Eastern Time. You do not want to miss it. Washington Redskins and the Los Angeles Raiders. Big trade a year ago to start the season. Jay Schrader becomes a Raider. And so today the Redskins went out to see if Jay would play. But no, Art Shell opted for Steve Berline instead. Schrader benched as he wished his replacement, Steve Berline, good luck. The Shell game was to have Berline in there to try and spark the offense, which had gone 2 of 3 of Shell's first games, scoreless in the first half. And Berline early to Swervin Mervin Fernandez, 18 yards. And again, Berline to the Swervin one. Touchdown, 14-0 early against Joe Gibbs. But back come the Skins. And it didn't even result in the offense making the move. The kickoff to Joe Howard at the 1. He makes his move, and he could go all the way. 99 yards. Longest in Skins history. First kickoff return for a touchdown since 78. It's 14-7. From there, though, Howie Long and the defense took over. They had 7 sacks on the afternoon and many tackles behind the line of scrimmage like this one on Jamie Morris. Then, Long sacks Mark Rippon. The only way Rippon could do it was under pressure. The ball tipped at the line by Mike Wise, but Donnie Warren comes up with the deflection. Next play, the Skins looking for the tie. Ernest Biner making moves down to the 13, but fumble! L.A. picks up the football as the Redskins continue to turn the ball over. This time, Jerry Robinson with the pick. And watch the hit by Jim Lachey. Robinson dazed. But the Skins with 8 turnovers on the day. One guy who was never dazed, Bo knows touchdowns. Bo Jackson. First 100-yard day in 2 years. 73-yard run. Nobody's going to catch him. 144 yards for Bo. Raiders lead it 24-10. Yeah, we know. Bo knows football. It got worse for Rippon and company. Only one time in Redskins history before today had they suffered 8 turnovers. It was in the 1940 NFL Championship game against the Bears. Bears beat them that day 73-0. That was an Eddie Anderson interception. Eddie Anderson again with an interception. And this time, he'll rumble, bumble, stumble, 45 yards into the end zone. 37-10. The Raiders in a romp. The Skins score a couple of late touchdowns, but it doesn't matter. 37-24. The silver and black is only 2 back. Lions and the Packers at Milwaukee, and the Pete's son Rodney, father Willie, meet before the game.
We're going to meet at home plate, guy. We're going to meet at home plate. How you doing? Good.
Willie Pete, assistant coach under Lindy and Fonnie. Rodney Pete, quarterback of the Lions today. What a nice, nice affair for father and son. And Rodney made Dad's job a little more difficult when he found Richard Johnson down the sidelines for 39 yards. Then Richard Johnson for a touchdown of 6 yards, 7-0 Detroit. But the real star today, Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders, 123 yards in the first half. He breaks tackles. He makes nice cuts like a little fire hydrant. Getting down the field.
Well, every fire hydrant I've ever seen has made nice cuts, and Sanders goes 7 yards into the end zone, but illegal block by Keith McDonald, and Wayne Fonts really enjoyed this call. Fonts, remember he got his job because he beat the Packers twice last year? Sends in Eddie Murray, who even after 19 straight field goals finally proves he's human, hits the upright, bounds away. We are 10-10 at the half, but the penalty was really a 14-point swing. Don Mikowski, his usual brilliant self. Here he hits Sterling Sharp, 14 yards. And then the Mikowski to Sharp connection again. 27 yards down to the Detroit 5. And then the same 2, Magic Man to Sharp, 5 yards. 20-10 Pack after 3. Mikowski, 367 yards as the Pack continues to come back. But this one went off Sharp's helmet and into the hands of Jerry Holmes. And with the score 20-13, the Lions were in business. A penalty put them back, but Rodney knows what to do when everyone's covered, Tom.
And he doesn't only run when he's in trouble. When he sees an opening, he goes for it, and he knows he can reach it and dives into the end zone for the touchdown.
We are tied at 20. Minute 37 to go. Look at Barry Sanders run 30 yards before he's finally brought down to the Packer 40. He finishes with 184 yards on 30 carries. But the Lions wouldn't score because they fumble, and Tim Harris recovers for Green Bay. We go to overtime. First play from scrimmage at overtime after the kickoff is handled by Detroit. Intercepted by Mark Murphy on the pass intended for former Packer Walter Stanley. 4 plays later, Chris Jackie jacks a 39-yard field goal. His third of the game, it's good. And the Pack, they don't do it in the fourth quarter. They do it in overtime this time. Green Bay winning late again. Winning over Detroit in Milwaukee by the count of 23-20. 100-yard rushers, you know Barry Sanders was 1. 300-yard passers, you know Mikowski was 1. Let's total them all up when we return. Late highlights, including the Gotham Green, the Jets. You stick them on the road, John, and I mean, why even worry, right?
Including the game at Stanford, which was a road game of sorts. They had yet to lose away from Candlestick Park. Now, the New York Jets, on the other hand, 1-6, and everyone calling for Joe Walton's head in New York. So, trying to come away with a big win. They wouldn't have to put up with this man, Joe Montana. Stop, look, listen, here's how you do it, Steve Young. He goes, and over top of the linebackers, he looks for Roger Craig, and there he is. 41 yards in the pickup. Craig, 6 receptions for 85 yards, 17 carries, 78 yards. He totaled 163. Then Young finishes things off, 2nd and goal. Brent Jones is open in the end zone. Young finds him, 7-0 49ers. On the next possession, though, things get a little scary for the 49ers. Young fumbles the snap, picks it up, tries to run with it, gets wrestled down, and washed the knee. He is out at least at that point. Bring in Steve Bono. Steve Bono singing, yes, I do have you, babe. He completes to Craig, but Craig gets hit by Kerry Glenn and fumbles the ball. Eric McMillan picks it up, and for the second time this year, a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and the Jets are on the board. But Bono's second series, 2nd and 1, he unloads to Jerry Rice, and he does have you, babe. 45-yard touchdown pass. Rice with 5 catches, 95 yards. Take a look at this, Tom.
Well, they say Jerry Rice is not fast, just fast enough to get by people, and always has the great hands, great leaping ability.
Joe Walton standing by. He says, I'll start the second half with an onside kick. And it works. Kerry Glenn recovers it for the Jets. They get down to the 8. 2nd and 2. Roger Vick goes nowhere. Kugler's there to get him. Then 3rd and 2. O'Brien, plenty of time, but he just overthrows everyone. The Jets get only 3, and it's 20-10, and that's what the Jets fans are saying about their team. 49er defense after O'Brien all day. 9 sacks overall. The Jets lose 23-10, and they're wearing bags on their heads. The Jets 0-4 at home. Their offense has not scored a touchdown in the last 13 quarters. San Diego and Seattle. Jim McMahon on the sideline. Not injured. Dan Henning just says, I'm going to go with Billy Joe Tolliver, the rookie from Texas Tech. Not an easy day for the rookie, though, Tom.
Well, he had pressure that time from Rufus Porter. He fumbles the ball. Here comes Rufus Porter again from the backside. Shows great speed, causes a pass incompletion, and then Jacob Green getting after him. A tough day all around for Tolliver.
The Seahawks' David Craig had trouble as well, though. Not a good day for quarterback.
Well, sacked by Burt Grossman. Gets the drop by Steve Largent. And then throws here and almost gets the interception.
The only points through the first 58 minutes of play. Norm Johnson, 27-yard field goal in the first quarter. Seattle led it 3-0. Fourth quarter, still 3-zip. Jim McMahon enters the game, and he hits Anthony Miller for 22 yards. The drive continues. Marion Butts bowls his way for a top 11 yards. Finally, on 3rd and goal, Seattle at the 14-yard line. McMahon to Arthur Cox, 14 yards for the touchdown, and the Chargers are up 7-3. Could Dave Craig bring the Seahawks back? Craig sacked at the 15-yard line. And Craig to John L. Williams to try and get things going. Down the sidelines, he picks up a gainer. Craig then to Paul Scanzi. The clock continuing to run. You see it's down to under a minute and a half. Craig, the big play to Lewis Clark. Clark cuts it back towards the middle to pick up a big gainer. Then a minute to play to Largent. And Largent has the catch and out of bounds. 1st and 10 at the San Diego 21. Almost a touchdown. Out of bounds to Lewis Clark. Then on 2nd and 10, Craig long and incomplete. A collision there in the end zone. 3rd and 10. Craig to Brian Blaze. One last try, and this time it's for the touchdown, and the Seahawks win it. 10-7 was the final of the game. Seattle has beaten San Diego 10 of their last 11 meetings, and they finally get a victory at home. They were 0-3. The Chiefs and the Steelers. Marty Schottenheimer had beaten the Steelers 7 straight times, but Bubby was back. 3-0 Steelers early. Bubby to Lewis Lips. Completes this one down to the 24-yard line. And Bubby to Lewis Lips again. This time for the touchdown. Nice move there to cut it back. Grabbed by the face mask, still gets in. 10-0. It was 16-3, but the Nigerian Nightmare would fight back. Koya runs around the right side. 1st down and then some. Mike Webster in his debut against Pittsburgh. This snap is not a great one. Steve DeBerg barely gets a hand on it, and the Chiefs are forced to punt. The momentum is Pittsburgh's, though. And Bubby Bristol will hand off to Merrill Hodge. The reverse to Dwight Stone. Fumble. Bill Moss falls on it after it bounces around. Touchdown, Kansas City. Now, he gets a touchdown, but he doesn't know how to celebrate.
Bill Moss, as a defensive lineman, has not spiked the ball very often. Hey! All the way off the field.
Didn't look like a spike unless you're trying to spike into the first row. Final seconds, Bubby again to Lips, 64 yards on the touchdown as Albert Lewis went for the ball and did not get it. Steelers take the lead back 23-17. Lewis Lips, 7 catches. You see Bobby Brister's number, 17 for 27, 255. Chiefs' last chance. First and goal, Okoye. No, that's how he's supposed to do it, but watch this one.
I'd like to see him try that again. When you weigh between 255 and 260, don't jump. Run it through.
Third and goal, DeBerg can't hear, so he backs off. It's too much noise, he says, but the officials say, no, you should have played, delay a game. Marty Schottenheimer is livid. Now a passing situation. DeBerg is intercepted by Rod Woodson, and the Steelers win it 23-17 is the final. The Steelers, who started so horribly, are now 4-4. They're second in the AFC Central. The Chiefs are 3-5. Lewis Lips with receptions now in 33 consecutive games. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they started horribly, didn't look very good last week against Houston, but they're only a game back.
I think coaching Cleveland had something to do with Marty's winning streak against the Steelers rather than the Chiefs?
KC.
Might have had something to do with it. All right, Week 8 now complete except for the Monday night game between the Vikings and the Giants at the Meadowlands. And if the Giants lose that game, they fall back into a first-place tie with the Eagles. Very good race atop the NFC East. In the NFC Central, if Minnesota loses, the Bears would go back into first place. Remember, this week is the first week they've been out of it since 1983. Bears play the Pack next week. Out west, Saints have a Monday nighter at San Francisco. So if they want to climb back, they're playing the team that they want to. In the AFC East, the results of today have given the Bills a 2-game lead over both the Colts and the Dolphins. The Patriots keeping their flickering hopes alive. In the Central, it's everybody's race, including the Pittsburgh Steelers. All the teams within 1 game. And out west, the Broncos' loss means their lead is only 2 over the Raiders in Seattle, although Denver was handing out options for playoff credentials in the press box. Was it a little early? We'll see. Axe's Edge next.